Go Loud presents the Talking Bollox podcast.
What you waiting for? Put your back in it. Just a little more. Throw your weight in it now. Tell your body you're ten. Walk it hard and long. When you finish that,
The hip knocker.
go down, go down, go down. Come up, come up, come up.
Episode 41, the Talking Bollox podcast, brought to you by Go Loud, the home of Irish podcast. It's me, Terry Flower.
It's me, CLB.
And this week we're joined by...
Glenn O'Reilly Murray, under the alias of Oscar O'Reilly.
Explain that.
Well, there's two people. The first person is Glenn O'Reilly Murray, that doesn't drink, doesn't do any outrageous stuff. And the second person is my ego, which is Oscar O'Reilly, that has done outrageous stuff, but he does not do outrageous stuff now. So I'm telling this story through my life experience.
Doesn't do outrageous stuff, is questionable.
Yeah.
We'll get into
What's
it.
the story with this? How's your marriage at that? Where is this podcast gonna go? I don't know. Do you know what I felt like on the way over here? Do you remember San Andreas and that meme and your man's walking up, your man TJ, and he's like, oh shit, here you go again. That's what this is like.
Well, speaking of that, just say I want to touch on one thing before you go into detail. First of all, I'd like to thank you for part two. Bringing me on here, you give people a lot of voice without rambling on too much, burn the ears off you. Last time you needed ice cubes, but straight up, you give people a lot of voice, and you let me, you're Jimmy Iovine, Calvin, and you're Dr. Dre. You let me fly like Eminem. I'm the white Eminem.
Eminem is
Eminem.
Alright, sorry about him.
Right, so, Glenn, Sauso, we call him... Why do we call you Sauso? Why do we do that?
Because of me dick, obviously.
Alright.
Is that the real reason?
Yeah.
How did you get the nickname, Sauso?
Because of me dick.
Right, so that's why we call him Sauso. I don't... Yeah,
I mean,
right, moving on.
If this is your first time listening and you don't know who Sauso is, just stop the podcast, yeah? Go back to episode 9, we had Sauso on then, and that'll explain everything. So, you's going to do that, we'll wait here for you, yeah? Go on.
You have, what's it, 2 hours? We burned the ears off.
Yeah, but just wait here. Just everyone just wait here.
Right,
But
but
just
just
walk
right,
away,
just
yeah?
sit back. You just go on, do what you said, don't.
Oh, man.
Do you know why I did that? Because you can't stay quiet for 5 seconds, and neither can you. The two of you
That's
can't
why
stay
you were
quiet.
great. That's why you were in the middle. Because
I know,
if you were over there, you
fucking
wouldn't work.
Do you know what I mean?
You have us both by the neck, what?
Right, so we had Sauso on for episode 9. We touched on a lot of stuff based around what he's about. Travelled the world about 18
Twice.
times with not a washer. ADHD, OCD plus, all these things, mental health, sobriety. Unbelievable. Go on, have a listen to that. It's a journey. So we got him back for the part 2 because we didn't even tip the bleeding iceberg with him. So he's going to go into some of the mad stories about going around the world and what he's doing today. So before we do any of that, zingers from last week, right? Poxy was-
So you had many. What's this?
That was
41?
impressive on me, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're alright. You're alright. Yeah,
Getting
yeah,
there,
you're
bro.
alright.
I'm alright there. I don't know.
Jesus.
You've had 32 episodes, yeah, since your episode.
Yeah.
Have you got a zinger for us?
I do, but it's
questionable.
It's questionable. So here's one.
We might have to cut this, boys. So
No,
just
we
be
won't. We
prepared.
won't cut
So
it.
why don't we do the zingers from last week before we do this week's ones?
Yeah, that makes more sense, doesn't it?
Let's go.
So, last week, see when you jump, when your mate's cycling a bike or something like that, and he tells you to jump on, right? What you call that?
Jump on the back.
Jump on the back of that.
What?
When your mate's on the bike, on the push bike, yeah,
Jump
he
on the
says
back.
jump on the back. What's that called?
Saddler.
A saddler?
It's
A
always
Richie?
Richie
A Richie saddler? No, yeah, a saddler, you call it?
When
It's
you
a
jump on
backer.
the backer, yeah.
Do you call
Yeah.
it a backer?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I haven't jumped on the back of a bike in years.
It's not that hard, bro. What do you call it when you jump on the back of a bike? See, if you've seen a bloke on the back of someone's bike, what would you say he's getting?
Just get on the back. Get on your back.
Right, so a backer or a jant was the two suggestion jokes, yeah?
I lost. So my ADHD is to the roof. No. I'll pass on that one. What?
So, a backer, 85% of people, right?
Yeah.
A jant, 15%.
I want to call
right?
you out because you fucked up.
Did
Because
I?
you said, what's it called when you're giving your mate a lift on the push bike? And people are saying handlebars, crosser, backer, jant, pegs, stunt nuts, everything.
Seen it, fucked up. Yeah,
You did
my
fuck
bad.
up. But look
Never
at
the
it,
bright.
it's backer anyways.
It is a backer, right? And then when you jump onto the back of a truck, remember years ago, you jump onto the back of a bin truck or a bus or anything like that, and you're holding onto the back of it. What you call that?
Anyways, Terence,
So when you
what do you call it when you're on the back of a fucking truck or a
scoot,
van?
is it?
A
Is it a
scoot.
scoot?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all we
Is that the
wanted.
correct
out of it.
answer?
That's all we wanted. Yeah.
All right,
Joshua,
all right,
that's
sorry.
all we wanted from you there.
One word.
I'm doing one of my mouth, damn it.
Yeah. So scooting 74%, a jant 26%, right?
Jant?
Yeah,
People are
childish, isn't it?
strange. Yeah.
A jant, look, a ganta jumper sounds like.
That's what it does say. Yeah.
Oh, I have a singer. Well, I went 2 weeks without a singer. So this week's singer's then, right?
Okay, Terence.
I'm delighted with this. Yeah, no, it's not a great singer, but I'm delighted to have a singer, right? Because I hadn't got one for a while, right? So when you order wings, do you prefer hot wings or barbecue wings?
Buffalo or barbecue?
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, buffalo or barbecue wings.
I'd say buffalo.
Yeah, buffalo all day,
Buffalo,
lads.
man,
Yeah.
myself, yeah. Because a friend of mine rang me earlier on and he was like, oh yeah, I went out last night, got wings and whatever. Barbecue wings. I said, that's the most childish.
Not a friend of yours anymore.
No.
I think they even took them off the market. They had to take, because I haven't seen them in ages.
Bro, childish. Eating barbecue wings.
But John, what's actually funny you say that, because when we had you on the last time, we got a load of chicken wings before it, remember? We were milling the chicken wings before it, yeah.
El Valbar. Shout out Valbar.
Shout out Eve at Malbar. Yeah, she always looks after us.
Getting looked after,
Yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
remember, we got the Albar, we got all critical.
Yeah, we're the
They
bad.
was
Podcast, you
19
couldn't
boxes and all. 19
Yeah.
boxes of chicken wing. Oh, man, unbelievable, yeah.
The whole family and all was
Yeah.
fed there. It was handy.
Yeah, a little doggy bag back to the gaff. 32 kids looked after.
But it's mad when you look back on it now, isn't it? Like where we were. Like, so I remember the day exactly. I remember
as
being
well.
on the phone. You were in my car, sitting on where the new Bainwood Shore is, on top of the canal, pissing down rain. It was waiting for him. You're on the phone to Paul. Remember?
Yeah.
And you're like, Sauso Murray's coming on now, and he was like, no way, he's gonna have some story. And we were there for about 4 hours.
Yeah.
I was great, though.
Great crack.
On
That's
that
what-
same
To look
level.
back on
Energy,
it, that seems like a
energy.
lifetime ago.
It
to me.
does, doesn't it?
Doesn't
It
it?
does.
Yeah,
It's nuts,
yeah.
mate.
Was
It's
it
mad.
There's-
Mad.
We've had about 100 zingers since then.
Oh, really?
But look at the energy, what you're doing, and you're giving people a voice because, you know, I don't want to shit on anybody or any production company or anybody here, any publisher, director. But I was saying it to you before I started this, the last almost decade, now about 6 years now, I've appeared on so many TV shows, so many radio stations, and on my mad's life, I'm not just saying this for attention, they took me off. The only one podcast that didn't cut me was you guys. And even getting messages off directors. I went to a screening. I was in the studio all day, gets a message, I'm so sorry it happened again, Glenn. You've been cut from the show because of the way I speak. And with you guys, you let me fly, and you also let everybody else fly. And you give people a voice when nobody else is doing. So big ups, big energy, keep it up.
Nice one, mate.
Sauso,
Yeah.
please.
Big
Throw
man
throw
energy,
him that few
yeah.
quid, will you?
Have you got a singer?
I have, and it's a bad one.
It's not going to be as bad as Pressure Cupboard, so.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't our singer.
True.
Realistically.
But it's not going to get much worse, so.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
It's not a quilter deal.
Bro, do you know what? That was going to be one for next week. Belch or Boop?
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Man's life, because I was going to use it a few weeks ago and left me mind. Actually, shout out to my auntie Caroline. She's one of the biggest fans, and she's the one that told me.
I want to hang on. I need to address something as well. If you go onto the YouTube channel, yeah, Caroline is our biggest fan, and she comments on and replies to everybody's
And even
comments.
messages me all the time. Yeah,
All the
little
time, right?
spicy old Caroline.
She is. But come here. She comments on the YouTube videos, and someone was like, where can I get the earlier episodes, this, that and the other, and she's complimenting us or whatever, and someone comments underneath it, okay Calvin, and then someone replies to that, thanks Calvin. Someone thinks that's me. It's your auntie. And someone thinks it's me acting a bollocks.
Yeah, no.
Catfishing the nation on YouTube.
But, yeah, no, shout out Caroline, because she's actually the one telling me to say that, and I forgot. But, Belch or Boop isn't bad. I'd say a Belch.
Yeah, I say Belch.
Yeah. Sauso.
What?
Belch or Boop.
Belch or what?
Boop.
A Belch or
Boop. I can't.
Belch, I think.
a
I think
boop.
both. No, Belch. I think Board is a.
Oh,
Board is. I thought Belch. I think I'd say a Belch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a Belch, yeah.
Oh, you nip bag for belching in my face.
Yeah, that as well, yeah.
Yeah,
But, so Belch or Boop, right? Stay tuned for next week's singer Quilt or Duvet.
Did someone chant us that? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, and I screenshotted it to remember it.
Oh, that's bad.
It's yeah.
How, bro, no one listen to me, right? Nobody in the world calls it a quilt. Nobody. Not a person alive calls that a quilt.
I know people that call her
A quilt.
a quilt, yeah.
A quilt.
Yeah.
Bro, sounds like a fanny fact. What's that called?
Queef.
Quiche.
You know what I mean?
Oh, right, we're not even, we're about 4 minutes into this podcast. I'm
Jesus.
sweating.
Oh, you
Right.
am as well, what?
So we move on. That's the English boxed off.
Done and dusted, yeah.
Right. Have you got anything you want to talk about?
Keep on trying to hit that camera.
So since you've been last on, people have grown fond of us for some reason and look for relationship advice of us now. So we're kind of turning into two agony ants.
Relationship advice as in
Yeah.
relationships.
Relationship as in relationships, yeah.
They look, well, we have the wrong person because...
Well, I think they have the wrong people with us too. So
Right.
we dragged the guest in, you know what I mean? We had Brian Penny on. The fella is a neuroscientist. He has a PhD in neuroscience. He was on heroin for 13 years. We're asking him, what do you think about this? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
somebody says his girlfriend is lying to him. What should he do?
Leave her.
Well, straight up.
It depends what the lies are. If she's lying about putting the blade and eating the digestives at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's grand. But if she's lying to you about, I went home at 2 o'clock this morning, but she was out at 6 o'clock in the morning in a gaff party with a load of fellas, it's sort of like, right, see her after.
That's different,
but of course, you have to explain the lies. You know, you can't just go, she's lying about what time it is, she's lying about...
Well, in relationships with me, I only want... You do what you want, you know. Obviously, to an extent. Go, do what you want. I don't drink, don't do drugs. You do drugs, you drink, you do what you want. But Emma Brennan is my new, not life coach, he's my new relationship advisor, actually. I signed him up there 2 days ago because he messaged me, he says, Glenn, you're blind. He says, you've no eyes. And I say, what? He says, you've no eyes. He says, you've been swimming with sharks all your life. He says, you fall in love with a packet of potato, prawn cocktail flavour. You fall in love with an orange skin. So I think Emma Brennan is the man for relationship advice.
I think we asked him relationship advice when he was on.
Did we, yeah?
Emma Brennan's
He's very good. You know what? He's very good at pretending to be
pulling women, yeah, I'd say so.
Pretending to be humble and wholesome. He's very good at pretending to the crowd that he's normal.
Emma's a scumbag. Emma Brennan is a scumbag.
Yeah.
But anyways, if she's lying to you, mate, call her. I don't mean call her out in a devious way. I mean say it to her, saying, look, you said this and this, and now you're lying. What's the story? And we address it and see what it's all about. Who knows, mate? You might be able to sort her out. More than likely it won't be. If she's lying, she's obviously lying for a reason.
Well, it's trust, isn't it? Trust.
Yeah, but why is she lying in the first place?
Exactly. Well, the way I see it is, right, so certainly sober, I see things very clearly. So if you're in a relationship and someone's lying, and then in the future, if stuff happens, or rumours, not even rumours, stuff happens, how are you supposed to believe her when she actually is telling the truth? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess one of the things that my psychotherapist was saying to me, he says, look out for red flags. And this is aimed at no one. It's like, look out for the dangers because it can affect your mental health. It's not worth it. Do you know what I mean? So if they're lying, then obviously it's for a reason. You know, it's going to affect you mentally. How can you trust somebody that's lying? Simple.
No, definitely.
To the extent of the lies.
Yeah, true.
Even white lies are ridiculous, you know what I mean? Even
there's no
did you
point.
eat the digestive at 4 in the morning? Why did you say no? Just say yeah and we move on.
Yeah.
What are you lying about
Some
it?
people just do that though, don't they?
Yeah,
Some people just want
Well,
to
I'm a compulsive exaggerator.
We know plenty of people that lie just for the sake of lying. Why are you lying for?
Good, the invention of lying, great.
Yeah.
Basically, I've been at a celebration of someone's birthday and that person turned around going, it's not even my birthday. And I'm like, why would you even say that? Do you know what I mean? We're here because it's your birthday. We're here because it's your birthday and you're telling people
No,
it's
but
not
see,
their
I
birthday.
love exaggerating. Emma Brennan always calls me out. Like, if I got chased by 3 dogs, I'd say, I'd fabricate the story. I'd say, 93 dogs and a werewolf chased me.
Gavin
Yeah.
Power in
Do you know what I mean? Exaggerate. But I don't mean that. I don't lie.
Yeah,
I
but that's
exaggerate.
different. Like, well, you're out till up fucking
Completely
all
lying,
hours,
yeah.
fucking up to all sorts. Or
yeah.
did you eat the digestive biscuits? Or did you
Yeah,
leave the
soggy
immersion
biscuit.
on? You know all this shit.
Yeah, I get you, yeah.
But, right, so that's that box off.
Yeah.
You happy?
Fresh.
Right, fresh. Another thing, obviously, lads, we have to touch on. I feel like we touch on it every fucking couple of weeks.
What's going on here? You look serious.
I am serious, bro.
I hate when he gets serious.
I hate this because he doesn't tell me the suggestions every week. So I do the
know,
singles
bro.
and he does the suggestions. By accident this happened. So I don't know what he's going to come out with. And I know it's serious.
Yeah, but like
face.
I was just saying, did you, you wanted to talk about?
No.
But we got sent this video a lot of the youngblets down in East Wall stabbing
Yeah, we did.
the other younglet. I feel like we
I
have to
didn't
touch on
see
this
it.
every
I
couple
didn't
of
hear it.
bleeding weeks also about
What was
knife
it?
crime. Just youngblets carrying knives, and you know what? That's like legit. That's all they are. Is youngblets stuff. 15, 16 years of age carrying a knife. There was an attack on a younglet in East Wall last week. A lot of people asked us to touch on it. I personally, right, I can't wrap my head around what you're getting from carrying the knife. I don't think there's a need for them to actually be carrying the knife. They're not in danger. There's about 20, 30 of them on push bikes. They go in, stab this younglet in the chipper. The younglet is about 15 as well. I don't get what they're getting out of it. Like it's
becoming...
It's a complex, you know what I mean? It's like they feel the need to carry this, like small man syndrome. I'm going to use this knife as a status symbol. I carry a blade, but they don't realise how delicate life actually is.
Yeah.
If you stab someone, there's no way you can delicately stab someone. So you know, or if I stab him here, he's going to be hurt, but he'll live. There's no way for them to actually do that, and they don't realise that you could take someone's life at 15. You're taking a child's life, but also you're going to ruin your own life. You're going to be up on a life sentence then. You know what I mean? And you start this never-ending cycle then.
Yeah, of course.
And I just don't care. It's so unnecessary. There's no need for you to be carrying a knife in 2021.
Well, I was actually stabbed in the head and stabbed near the heart in Reds, and I can relate to that. But it's like, I think...
We actually touched on this in the last episode.
Yeah. But I think personally that it's a lot of... I was saying to Terence earlier before we met, you would not believe the amount of underdiagnosis in Ireland. And there's a method to every man's madness. And I believe with all my heart, if you're carrying a knife, there's obviously mentally you're not there in the head. You can't, because to them it's normal. Like for when I had a drink problem and I was on my rocker, and the same with anyone else, you think it's normal. So for somebody to carry a knife in the system and in Dublin City, they think that is normal. And then they're in the system, they're in prison, they're back and forward. To them that's normal until sometimes, like, I'm lucky to get out. Yous are lucky to get out. We don't drink here. Do you know what I mean? But if you think of the amount of people that actually don't get out, do you know what I mean, of drink, of people that, like, I didn't know I had OCD, ADHD, traits of other stuff, right? You didn't know, you know? So they have that. That's what I believe. They suffer with underlying mental health or mental illnesses. They don't know. And that's the dangers of... That's why I'm here to raise awareness of doing that.
The problem we have with it is... you can't say that for every single one of them.
Yeah.
So a lot of these kids are out to try and prove a
That's
point.
what I'm saying. I think it's a status thing.
Yeah.
Here's Terence, don't mess with him, eat slice it. Like, you know what I mean?
Because I always heard of them people growing up. Do you ever hear them people, you wouldn't mess with him, he'd stab you in the heart?
Oh, just small-time drug dealers and all, and just trying to make a name,
But that's what I'm saying, but they're young, they're 15, 16, I wouldn't mind, but they're well-dressed, they're on good push bikes, so they're coming from decent families. You know what I'm saying? So there's something, they're lacking. I agree with what you're saying.
To an extent,
there's something underlying. They're probably mad, self-conscious or anxious, and they feel like they need to stand out in the crowd. They need to be that young fella that's carrying the fucking carrying the knife. But what it does, I'm going back to the knock-on effect it's having. When people see then a group of young fellas just out cycling, they're going to be like, one of them probably has a knife. You know what I mean?
It should never be.
And it should never be like
process,
that.
Yeah.
You know. So it's a tough one, because how many times do you have to fucking say it on this?
I know, yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It's poxy, yeah.
I reckon if you go back through every episode we've had, we've probably about 2 hours, 3 hours. A whole episode could be dedicated to talking about this amount of time.
Of course.
I'm nearly sure with Emma, we touched on it when Emma was on, and that was only a couple of weeks ago.
We touched on the Jack Willie one, but like you were saying, it is that like effect that's having on people then, because like we were saying, nobody should have to hesitate about going down certain roads in your own city or in your own place, you know. So there's a lot of people that have messaged us that said that they'd never go down the keys because they're afraid, because the gangs on the keys and the trouble on the keys lately, and then we see what happened to one of our Olympians and things like that. That should never be a thought process in your head, I can't get down that road because there's always something there, you know what I mean? Why can't we all just fucking love?
Scary.
You know what I mean? Let's show a bit of love, like.
But like, you know, when we were all that age, and you're all like, you have different gangs, like you're from this area, they're from that area, and people meet up, and 9 times out of 10, fuck all ever happens anyways. But now these young fellas are going down and stabbing each other, like, what is actually there's nothing you are achieving now with that.
No, but there's not. They're trying to prove themselves, and it's scary. I travelled the world for almost a decade, and I'm not just saying this. I'm more scared walking in town than I am in the streets of Columbia, and being in Pablo's hometown in Columbia, walking around in the middle of the night. But in Dublin, it's like I used to work in the Ivy up in Camden, and walking down there every night. Like during the COVID pandemic, all the stuff, I was the only one really, and night time 11, and the amount of times that almost attacked, and scary because it's happening in a lot, and it's not being addressed. It's not being addressed enough, you know.
Yeah, and like we wouldn't be the biggest fans of the guard or the way the guard do things. Like we think that they've certain things in place that shouldn't be in place, and the way they act in certain situations and the way things are ran there's a lot of problems there. But I think they need to make a statement of intent on people carrying knives and knife crime in general, just so even if you're caught carrying a knife, give them a certain amount of years off their back, because why have you got the knife, right? Or
just obviously an intent.
And especially if they're caught stabbing someone. There's too many cases where people are caught like they've been caught on knife crime, right? And they get 8 years and they get 3 knocked off for good behaviour, they'll 5 years for it. You're like, it's only 5 years. There should be a statement of intent from authority to sting these cunts and go,
Made
for the
of,
next person to go, he's at the doing 18 years, 20 years for that. Fuck.
Well, if it's in America, they would.
If you stab someone, that in my eyes, that's attempted murder. Because, like I said at the start,
within a blink,
you can't actually know if we put a
Exactly.
blade in him, he's going to be alright. Whereas if I give Terrence a bang with a bat in the arm, I know he's not going to fucking die.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
But if I stab him, I can't say that knife won't hit an artery or hit something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
and
yeah.
how delicate it actually is in that situation. I know too many people that died on
and even innocent people.
people, but like
yeah.
little things like what happened. Artie was out and something was said, and he stabbed him, and then that young fella is dead. He's
Even
gone.
bottling people and all, like, it's mad, boys. Like,
And
it's
they're
just-
like, oh, he didn't mean to kill him all. Then why the fuck did you put a blade in him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't
yeah.
realise this stuff,
No,
lads.
no, of course.
And how easy it is just to intervene and be
Because
like,
then
know
you
what?
can't-
I
yeah.
won't take a knife with me when I'm going out with the boys later. Why are you bringing a knife? You're not in that. Your life is not in that much danger. Trust me, because I know people with threats on their life that don't carry knives.
Yeah, no, I know, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just,
Nuts.
lads, just cop on, mate. You know what I mean? Fucking heads wrecked over this. Sorry about that, lads.
No, I'm with you on it. I agree with
No,
you.
of course.
Everything.
Delicate situation, yeah.
Right.
Oh, do I lie or no? Look, listen, it had to be said, and I think you did a good job at that there, yeah? A lie or no? Into the Sauso fella, yeah?
Right, yeah.
Glenn O'Reilly Murray, Oscar O'Reilly, whatever you want to call yourself, Sauso Murray, whatever you want.
Look at him looking at me.
Oh no, well, what do you want me to do? Do
He turns and smiles. Jimmy Ivine over here, what?
So this is going to be part 2, Sauso, yeah? So, do you want to give us a quick brief on why we had you on for part 1 and what we discussed in that?
Now, a quick one, because
Yeah,
part 1 was long.
Yeah, so anyway.
Give us a synopsis.
Put the glasses on the boiler down.
Wait, hold on, no, we'll save the glasses. Where is my glasses? You got me glasses? No. So, anyway, well, part 1 was a lot of related to Terrence, as in ADHD. So, a short brief, anyway. Boxing background, trained alongside Darren Sunderland, Olympians, Dino Murphy, Keith Boyle, Emma Brennan. I became Irish champion straight from there. Left Ireland 2012 with no experience. Was on welfare. Sound like Conor McGregor, I do repeating that. But Conor McGregor's a legend, actually, by the way. But I would have done the same. If I had seen Megan Fox straight away, I would have asked for a picture. Machine Gun Kelly, I would have threw more than a drink over him. I would have jumped over the barrier, stood on her shoulders and all to get a picture. But anyway, yeah. So back to that. So basically, travelled the world for the good part of 10 years, living this fairy tale life, living 2,100 metres in the French Alps, the Cook Islands, Barcelona, everywhere, working with crocodiles, travelling with circuses, living this fairy tale life. While I was living this fairy tale life, I suffered with ADHD, OCD, and the pluses for a lot of other traits of the puff of madness, they like to call it, maybe psychosis, other stuff. And I suffered with alcoholism, drank a lot, probably the maddest stories that happened to me. But at the time, I thought it was normal. So I became sober, to end the story, became sober.
When did you become sober?
2018, I think it was. So 3 years now, so 2021, 2018. Became sober. I was living in a castle in Castle in Sweden. And basically, what I thought I wanted, when I became sober, I thought I wanted to become a chef. Because I found out that, I have all this extra energy that I can work 130 hours a week. I can work as much as I want and nobody can break me. So I started talking my way in some of the most prestigious kitchens throughout the world. And New Zealand, the whole lot. And when I got to the Cook Islands to end the first story, it was everything I imagined. I wanted to get there all my life. I imagined this, one of the most secluded islands in the world called Aitutaki. So I got there, and when I got there, I suffered a mental breakdown. I was isolated, a 19-kilometre island, long and wide, and to cut into a severe mental breakdown. I was alone with my thoughts. Everything came back, and why that happened was all the toxic trauma and all the shame of what I'd done under the influence surfaced, and that's why I suffered suicide tendencies, because I couldn't deal with what drink made me do, and then no excuses, but I not only thought about harming my own life, but harming my bosses. I was going to kill them stone dead. And then I was going to go straight over to One Foot Island, which is one of the most secluded islands in the world, send me journals and me books home. And my life coach, Kid Dynamite, he doesn't want to be named, was going to send me books home to him. And do that. But something appeared over me to not do it. My mother called me. No, I called my mother. I was actually on the way to kill my boss, believe it or not, which was barbaric. Obviously, killing a boss is... He didn't deserve it because I was the one that was suffering, but he was a monster. But it was because of him that I was in the Cook Island, so I can't blame anybody but myself. So then what I learned was, escape the island in the Cook Islands. Somehow my ma talked me out of it. She says, you're the best lawyer in the world. You know, Glenn lied to get out there. And flew out and left the island and looked down at my feet and had a pair of orange bright Crocs on and just started falling. The first time I laughed in 9 months, and it was I escaped the Cook Islands in a pair of Crocs and I lived to tell the tale. So I was like, that's it. Emma Brennan has been telling me, I'm 34 now, got assessed when I was 31. Emma Brennan is telling me since I'm 14, he says, Glenn, you're the most mentally disturbed man I know, you need to seek help. And I said, Emma, I'm deadly, you're just jealous. And he says, Glenn, listen to me, he says, I'm your friend. I says, you're just jealous, because you're sure. He says, if we look like you, we'd be dating a TV presenter. He says, Glenn, listen to me, get assessed. And because of him, people like him, he keeps me on my toes. We'll get to another story about him in a minute. But yeah, so that's it. Came home, got diagnosed with ADHD, OCD, and learned a lot. So came home, and the mission was, right, cooking makes me miserable. I want a career in the arts, directing, creative writing novels, plays, and went back to play school, as in with kids, learning the difference between there and there. I actually forget now, it's embarrassing because I started Trinity College today and I'm not messing, I don't know the difference between there and there. Touching on ADHD quick before we start part two.
No, nothing's quick. Relax,
but anyway, OCD, ADHD, I learned that when you eliminate drugs and when you eliminate drink...
Sorry, Sauso, to interrupt you, yeah? You've never done drugs?
No, but I've been spiked a few times, so I can't...
Yeah, but you like, as in, you're talking about being sober and all, but that's just strictly from alcohol. You never used to go out and just...
No, just alcohol.
Yeah.
Never done a drug in my life because if I...
Willingly done a drug in your life?
If I done a drug, I'd kidnap Emma Brennan's nanny, put her in the boot of the car and bring her up the Wicklow Mountains if I done drugs. You know, stuff like that, because a loopy, you know, a loop case. But anyway, OCD, ADHD, what I found almost like you could say a gap in the market, right? That I learned that in the humblest way possible that you can do anything with your life if you obsess enough over it. So you take the energy from ADHD, you take the obsession from OCD, you put it together, you have all, like, I would say, so drunk Oscar would have like 2 days in the week. No, a day and a half in the week because hungover acting the bollocks. Sober Glenn has 8 days in the week, if that makes sense. I can stay awake for 24 hours, no problem, and do what I love. So anyway, used my underlying condition to travel the world for 10 years anywhere to get sober. And then the biggest challenge was Trinity College. I want to be an artist. I want to be a director. And went back to play school. So then what happened was, recently what's been happening after the last podcast, my teacher pulled me. I was in a bit of a dark place, and she pulled me and she says, Glenn, this was last year, you should think of your academic future. You know, it's college enough for you. What do you want out of life? And I says, well, I want to wear lemon suits, peach suits, directing plays, eating red velvet cheesecakes, and just being in the director's chair and expressing. I could never express on a play my life or me as a person.
Well, you give her a good fucking bash, because the stuff you do be cooking I've never heard of in my life.
But yeah, anyway, so I stayed awake for 2 weeks, practically 22 hours studying. I had to get 99% in my last test to get into Trinity, and it was a history test on the famine, and I got 99% in the test and got in, and with learning difficulty. So it's for kind of what I'm trying to express is with ADHD and OCD, when you finally accept that you have it, because you know, Terence, there's underachievers and overachievers, and the underachievers are the people that is afraid to accept their almost, you can use it as like a superpower, and that's what I've done. So that's what I've been doing. I got into Trinity, started today. Well, I should be there now, but use them on.
You're on the Mitch.
Well, they won't let me talk like this in there, will they? So that's why I'm here, what?
Yeah. Just express yourself.
Express yourself.
You're free to run in here.
So, Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine.
So go back to, I'm speaking to the audience here, yeah? So go back and listen to episode 9 with Sauso. You'll get the whole start to finish of what happened to him on that trip and how he got out of there and how he got to where he was. When was that, December? Or January? Was it after Christmas we had you on?
I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been after Christmas. Yeah, January, February it would have been.
Yeah. So, since then, Sauso, right? what have you been up to since the start of the year?
So I'm going to be totally honest, and it's very hard for me to even, man, it fucking kills me, man. Last year, my nanny died, and the day before my nanny died, man, kills me. Fucking hell, I'm going to get dead for this, am I? But anyway, my nanny died. The first woman in my entire life, my nanny, that could see past the chaos, encouraged me to be me. The only girl, that woman I could talk to. So I came home to get professional help. Had nowhere else to run. Ran all over the world. Was sitting in the park we talked about in the last podcast, in all orange. Orange trousers, orange suit jacket, and orange. I looked like Elton John, the straight version. And basically couldn't deal with me nanny going, who the fuck am I going to talk to? And so here we go, right? Get ready for this one. Never scroll on Facebook, Instagram maybe. So a white chocolate Ferrero Rocher bar was on Instagram or Facebook. And I was like, it made me so happy when my nanny was dying. And I was like, this is not normal, my obsession with chocolate, you know? And then I clicked into the picture. Oh my God, who the fuck is this, right? Crinkly hair, blonde hair, unbelievably looking, a miracle, right? So clicked in to message the girl, seeing a message that I sent her already a year before, a creepy message, didn't write back obviously. And then I was like, I have to message this girl. My nanny was on her deathbed in front of me. So anyway, straight up, let's call this girl Angie Simmons, right? A miracle. She's a miracle. So met up, was COVID, ended up falling in love. It was the first girl in my entire life that seen past the chaos. So I like to describe rare souls as miracle energy. You know, when you meet somebody that walks into the room and people bow before her, and people like, you know, man, people, she just makes people, everyone in her presence feels good. And she only cares about everyone else. She doesn't care about herself. A miracle, and you wouldn't believe what. She's very lucky to be alive. She's one of the luckiest girls alive, and she's a miracle. Fell in love with the best girl in the world. So I thought, spent a year and a half with her. She appeared the day my nanny died, you know, in the graveyard, which was, I think my nanny sent her to guide me anyway. So what happened was, I spent a year and a half with her. Best year and a half of my entire life. I had too much energy, and she didn't understand it, and she had a lot of energy. But anyway, best year and a half. What she's saying, how she could see it, and how she could pull me on, you know, the way people think, and it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? She got me, because of her, she got me into Trinity. Because of her, she has opened my whole mind on life. She's an absolute miracle. But anyway, we started to clash, didn't work out. No one's fault, not my fault, not her fault, but whoa, man, whoa, a miracle. One of the most powerful women I was very fortunate to meet. And so with ADHD, so emotional, so attached, so obsessive, so much energy. And like, when I give somebody my whole heart, I'm so loyal, so certainly sober, you know. Miracle, it was perfect. It was a fairy tale relationship. I felt like when I was with Angie Simmons, right, the best way to describe it, in her presence, it felt like that I was running across a chocolate marshmallow field with pink bunny rabbits licking my ears. That's what it felt like. I never felt like that in my entire life, you know. Then started to clash. Not working out. We tried everything. Just wasn't working out. And then we split up. When we split up, it killed me. I'm talking, like, a breakup with ADHD is like, straight up, I lost one of my best friends through mental health, right? And straight up, 2 months ago, when I lost my girlfriend, it was worse than losing my best friend. But that's probably because you can't ride your best friend. No, back to it serious. No, but seriously, It killed me. My heart.
You can't be doing that.
Nah, what do you mean?
So wait, will you for fuck's sake?
What do you mean?
You can't do that.
Me
Shut
bollocks.
up and lumping me throat.
Yeah,
I'm sitting
do you know
here.
what I mean?
I'm relating to you so much. You need to talk about
I
it.
have to make you laugh because I was going to start crying. I don't want people to
I'll
be
cry
crying.
with you. Cry.
bro.
I'm crying.
Big
No,
man, cry,
man,
bro. I'll cry with you. Bro, you can't do
Because
that.
if I get locked up and they see me crying on this podcast, they know I'm an easy
No,
target.
come here, bro. I'm
Half
after
the people in there will probably have been on this podcast as well. You know what I mean? So it doesn't
Bro, it
really
was
matter.
that close. You had me, and then...
And see, that's
you say something.
I'm hearing the name of art, right? Anyway, no, no, but on a serious note, back to Angie Simmons, right? So,
Right, give me...
So-
Hang on for a minute.
Go.
Why did you say Angie Simmons? Why? What? Like, I know it's an alias, yeah, but why Angie Simmons? What made you say that name?
because she looks like an Angie Simmons.
All right, because I thought you were going with the whole Dr. Dre.
Who's Angie Simmons?
Is that not, what's Russell Simmons' board's name? Is her name not Angie Simmons? Something
I don't
Simmons.
know.
Do you know Russell Simmons? No. And the
no.
Run DMC's brother, your man Rev Run's brother. No. Anyways, yeah, hip hop leading history lesson here, COB. Someone's gonna look this up and butcher me. God knows got a fuck clue he's talking about. Come on, Sauso, sorry.
Yeah,
So,
so-
Back to what you were saying, right?
you broke up with the missus.
Yeah, and it killed
the
me.
heartbreak
Now, when
was
I'm
worse
talking,
than actually losing
I-
someone physically.
Right, so the thing is with relationships, back to talking relationships, straight up from the bottom of my heart, right, what I learned is, right, with life, right, in order for me to stay alive and stay happy, right, in order for me to stay alive, I have to be happy. In order for me to be happy, I have to do what I love, right, regardless. The Alchemist book, right, by Paul Cohen has changed my life because I done every job in the world. I lived all over the world, right? In a humble way, I can be anywhere now, cooking or doing jobs. I know I can live anywhere I want, but that is not going to make me happy because I'm passionate about, right, if Picasso had 6 months to live, what would he do? Do you think Picasso would be working in the kitchen? Picasso would be painting pictures. So that's what I have to do. So if anybody gets in the way, and I love my mother and anybody else, but negativity must be eliminated because happiness, right? What I learned is, Jesus Christ, I sound like Will Smith after him catching his boy cheating on him. But no, so basically, I have to do what I love, right? And I can't let anyone get in the way of that. So I can only make myself happy. Angie Simmons can only make herself happy. We can share happiness, right? We can share happiness when we are content and fully focused. But still, that relationship, that hurt more. Like, I was in such a bad place when I lost my best friend, but I was even in a worse place. So, straight up, 2 months ago, he split up, killed me, and still even kills me to this day because it was a connection. You know when you connect with someone, it was a fairy tale, like literally, like Cinderella fairy tale, how I seen it. One of the most powerful girl I've ever laid eyes on. And anyway, back to it, split up. So I've done CBT, cognitive behaviour therapy course on life skills. So I know, I've learned that, right, when I wake up, I need 5 litres of water. I've got the tools to know what makes you happy, right? But I didn't eat for 5 days, right? Didn't eat for 5 days. I was in bed. I could not deal with the breakup, right? Because it was such a miracle and because of how she paired with me nanny. And in my head, I was like, well, I don't think I'm going to get somebody like her again or somebody even close because she's that powerful. And it killed me. But I knew it was the right decision for both of us because I want her to be happy, but I need to be happy. So sitting there, and I was just thinking to myself, right, how am I going to get out of this negative rut? And what is going to make me appreciate life? So then I says, right, living this life, the life I lived for 10 years, hitchhiking, living on beaches, doing this life, what is going to make me appreciate life? I felt like death. I felt like I wanted, if I'm frankly honest, I was in my friend that cut me hair, Lockie of Pattern Barbershop. I was looking out the window in Dame Street, top of Dame Street, and I closed my eyes and I visualised putting on a Ford jacket or a see-through Mac, downing 5 bottles of whiskey and just causing murder. I was hating life. And at the time, a lot of people close to me, it just happened that a lot of people went back on drink and drugs around me, my circle, and it was toxic coming in, and plus a breakup. So I was like, right, I need to get away from this. So I was like, right, I have enough life experience. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't tell people how to live their life, but I have a lot of experience of overcoming addiction, and I think some people relate if I put myself out there on Instagram, and decided to hitchhike to raise awareness for the dangers of mixing alcohol with your mental health. Now, I want to touch on this just really quick. Drink. A lot of people don't understand. People think, oh, I can't be around drink, or people think that, I'm not saying everybody should stop drinking. My ma, for instance, drinks. She's the funniest person in the world. When I drink, I walk into the GPR with Roman candles, thinking I'm in the IRA, and just start shooting them. Just outrageous. Do you know what I mean? So and the dangers of mixing drink with your mental health. So that's when I decided hitchhiking is going to bring me back from the dead, right? And I sit here now, 2 months ago, couldn't get out of bed, was in the darkest place in my life, couldn't deal, was broken, it was the darkest time. It was the same darkness of suicide in the Cook Islands. It was the exact same. And I haven't felt like that since the Cook Islands, which was 2 years ago. And it was the exact same. And even back to you, people think it's all roses, rainbows and butterflies, sober. But when stuff like happens, we are thrown with stuff at us every day of our life. We're thrown obstacles. And it doesn't stop. The pain is constantly, it's pain every day. But it's how you deal with it to turn a broken heart into art, basically. And that's what happened on the hitchhike.
And then the next thing I want to touch on, so you were talking about being in a dark place and you needed to get up and go and hitchhike. Do you feel like you have, and I know you do have the energy, and you are a ball of energy, do you think you need to constantly be channeling that energy into something, and the hitchhike thing just was the right thing for you? Because you can say, oh yeah, I'm going to hitchhike, but you actually really do need to pay attention to what you're doing. You need to get from A to B every day on minimal amounts of funds and shit like that. So do you think that's what kind of stuff you need constantly, something to channel your energy?
Yeah, well, back to speaking of ADHD in terms, so everything, like, I'm the type in a humble way of like, I need a challenge. So back to boxing, I was too skinny. I'd never win an Irish title. I'd be wrote off. But I'd obsess, I'd use the OCD, the ADHD, extra energy, hyperfocus, whatever, become Irish title. You're only going to last a week travelling, right? I'm going to find a way. I was never the best chef in the world. I was always the worst chef on the team, but I'd always work harder than everybody else. And everybody talks about work ethic, yeah, but I have paychecks of 135 hours a week, and people be on the line and they'd get sent away because they couldn't hack, getting shit. Like, you burn me with forks, I'll stay there right in front of you, because when I want something, straight up, I come from a council estate in Sheridan Court, but I want what's better. Certainly sober. I believe I deserve better than a council estate, so I'm going to lie and I'm going to obsess. So a challenge, I need my mind. I'm so out there. A lot of people, make me out to be crazy, or like, of course, you spend a week in a cave, 100-hour fast, and we'll get to that. But I need like Trinity College, I have learning difficulties. Do you know how hard I have to concentrate, right? I have to fast constantly, right? I have to train every day, right? I don't take medication, right? So I have to, when I have tests, yeah? Like, let's say I have a test on the famine. I had to watch the famine film, right? 14 times. I had to read books like 20 times, right? Then I had to YouTube the stuff, right? So that to me is a challenge. But with the hitchhike, I knew COVID, it's going to be hard to get picked up. 2, I have 45 days to do it. And in the meantime, the 100-hour fast, I need to do this. I done that trip, right? 1, for my own mental health. Because I knew, first of all, I was at home on my own. No one was there. So I had all this time to think. And I had... You have people to help you, Darren Morgan, John Boland, Emma Brennan, but they're off doing their own thing. They can't be there 24/7.
Can't mind you, like.
So they can't mind you. So when you're there with your own thoughts, when I'm not making people laugh, I think about death 24/7 a day, and I think about the question of the meaning of life, right? What's the point? Why am I waiting to die? I completed life. I don't want to sound like a prick, but the stuff that
you
I
did
do.
anything you wanted to do.
I do everything that I wanted to do.
You've lived many a life.
So what's next? And that's the question of death is when I lose somebody so close, it's like, right, life is out to get me. So what's the point? What's the point?
So relatable though when you're talking about sitting with your own thoughts. That's what Calvin gives out to me all the time when I'm sitting around. And like we hate it as well, you know, but especially with ADHD, like I say it all the time, like it was so hard, my journey to sobriety, but the only time now that I have a problem and I feel like I have an urge and I want to drink is when I'm alone. I can sit around the boys drinking, doing whatever they're doing, or drugs, everything. I can be so close to it and not have an urge. But if I'm on my own with my own thoughts, my mind just keeps going and going and going. It's like, right, I need to drink, you know. And as well, like what you were touching on, it almost sounds like what we touched on the other week is like perfectionism. Like when you're talking about not being the best chef on the team, but you're there and you're grafting and grinding, you're obsessing about it. And then like after that, you're talking about like you have to watch this 14 times. Now I know it's because we're ADHD and with things like that, it's easy to lose concentration and it's easy to go, I don't even know what happened there. I can watch the same film 14 times, like, and it'd be like a new film. I said this Calvin before. Calvin asked me, did I watch a film?
Same, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I watched the film, but I can watch that again because I don't remember.
Can't tell you what happened in it.
Like I literally can't tell you what happened in it. I can watch a whole film, but not tell you what happened in it because it's like little things, you know. And that's what I think. I think that sounds like perfectionism though with you though, because like you had to watch that 14 times. You had to read this that many times. You do that over and over and over again because you don't want to fuck her up. And look, that's where sometimes you'd be afraid to do something in case you do it wrong. Do you get me?
Yeah, and but I have a secret for you and people that's listening. Anyway, what I learned, I love being in the dark. I learned that isolation is key. That was a part of the trip of the hitchhike, the end, the last week. So when you're not on your phone, when you're not drinking, when you don't have anyone around, because a lot of people would look like, people saying to me, Glenn, you spent a week in a legal cave that you shouldn't have been in. You fasted 100 hours in the cave, you know. You were a raving nutcase, you know. But the reason why I've done that is the dark surfaced, right? I had no one there, and you get answers right. One, what the answers you get is, what do you want out of life? Is it the right decision, say after the breakup? Is it the right decision? Do I really want to spend 4 years going to Trinity? How am I going to stay alive? Right, the dark, all the stuff that happened, that surfaces and it's in your face, it's right in front of you, and you hate it. You're screaming and crying, you're talking to yourself, you're hating it. But then, when you learn to live with the dark, that's when you learn to control it. It's okay, because people are so obsessed about the past. They get anxiety they get depressed thinking about the past, what they've done, right? And they get anxiety thinking about the future. But they never think of the present moment, you know, here, now, we use, and like in the present. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why we're right. So what if you've done stuff, or if you're on your own and you get, because it's scary. Our minds are scary.
I fucking hate being on my own.
You get so I thought about sacrificing my own life in the cave. Jordan, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, the hitchhike. So,
right, tell us the start.
Tell us how you started the hitchhike.
Yeah. So anyway, lying in bed, depressed to fuck. You know, kill me. My broken heart was. My heart was actually bleeding, blood all over the duvets and all. I was in that bad of a state. You know, straight up. Called me kid dynamite, and spent the night and went down. Decided to start in the heart of Ireland, the hitchhike, not Dublin.
So come here. Did you have this idea in your head? You know, I'm just going to hitchhike around the country. Who can help me do this? And you're going to your man Kid Dynamite?
No, so...
Or he just said, come on down to me.
I basically have all these adventures in my head.
Yeah.
Like, I have to keep going.
Yeah.
I have to keep going.
Yeah,
I have to adventure,
still,
right?
Yeah.
Have to adventure, because also, now that I'm chasing a career in the arts, I need to get inspiration. I want to be a writer, and I want to be a creative writer, creative director. So I need inspiration to write about. If I'm sitting at home, nobody wants to hear about somebody sitting in bed crying over spilled milk. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, decided to start in the heart of Ireland. When I mean the heart of Ireland, it's the centre. But not only is the centre, it's a man that got me sober. Well, I got myself sober. He guided me and he pushed me to becoming sober. He told me to get off social media for a year. And when I got off social media for a year, again, it's back to isolation. Went in deep. So I decided, why not start in his hometown? The trip is basically, it's a sobriety trip. It's hitchhiking around Ireland to raise awareness for the dangers of mix and drink with your mental health. Start in Port Arlington. near Portlaoise. Spent the night with him. Had a good chat and we talked. He's wonderful. He's amazing. And anyway, started in Portlaoise, hitchhiked to Waterford and spent time with Darren Morgan. Very positive fella. Again, it's back to spending your time with positive people, superheroes that bring out the best in you, that make you feel like you have superpowers. But anyway, so the first kind of mad story, what happened was, I had big waterproof bag, packed me knives, me, tent, sleeping bag. It's always scary. I'd done travelling like that for years, and straight into it, I was like, what am I going to feel like? I was anxious, Am I going to feel the same? Is living like this, why did I live like this, right? The second I went on the side of the road and put my thumb out hitchhiking.
Is that what you did? Literally just went down and put your thumb up, yeah?
Right. The second I went on that side of the road, put my thumb up with a sign, right?
What's the sign say?
Mama's waiting. Right? I'll tell you why, because if I'm in Portlaoise and I say, I have a sign saying, if I'm in Portlaoise and I have a sign saying Waterford, most of the time, people's not going to pick me up. But let's say if you're driving home from work in Portlaoise and you see Mama's waiting, so you drive past me and you automatically think in your head, right? You think in your head, oh, he needs to get home to his mum. His mum must be sick. So then you spin back and you pick me up. So then they get in the car, and your man says, where's your man? Is your man all right? Yeah, she's in Turkey. What's she doing in Turkey? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Yeah, she's having the time of her life in Turkey. Well, then what are you talking about? What's the song about? I said, I just need a lift. Where are you going? Waterford. And he says, I only picked you up because you're fucking ma. He says, Mama's waiting. But I tricked him. So then when you're in the car, he's like, this fella's in no case. Just fucking get in. Come on, we'll bring you to Waterford. But anyway, spent time there, started the trip. So the first mad ride, what happened was, so hitchhiking, the first time I put my finger up, back on the road, and I was like, I thought I lived like that because I was on my rocker, and, I'm over living like that. I want a career now, right? But when I put my hand out on the side of the road, I was like,
just got that
the
feeling
butterflies.
again.
I was like, so first of all, I forgot about the pain of the breakup. When I'm on the side of the road, I'm thinking about the homelessness, the war with drugs, the war with mental health, the people suffering. I'm listening to the birds singing, everything, living life the way I live it, right? So, put my hand out anyway. 3-litre Merc pulls in. Russian fella, but I've obviously learning difficulties, can't even understand accents. Which part of Cork are you from? And he says, the Russian part, right? And I says, what? The Russian part, right? So I was like, what the fuck, right? So anyway, all I hear, I get mad intrusive thoughts, when I felt dark energy, yeah? The car locked, right? So anyway, we didn't say a word, didn't open his mouth, drives to the garage, right? Before he got out of the car, he says, I'm going to be honest with you. Straight up, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to kill myself. You come on with me. I mean, man's life, right? No word of a lie. So, Jesus Christ, I says, the first ride, one of the first rides on the hitchhike, do you know what I mean? I says, this is absolutely barbaric. So, that's when I get into character. This is when Oscar comes in, right? That's when the ego comes in full swing and you use it to your advantage. I was like, right, I can't run, he'll kill me. He was a monster. Because, first of all, he was out of his head on drugs, so he'll kill me stone dead.
How do you know he was out of his head on drugs?
Because I could see it in his face. But he had Ray-Bans on, and I knew there was something up. I knew bad energy, man. So then I started, right, if I act like a little pussy to him, he'll either kill me or his mind is not all there. He's on drugs. So I says, mate, just get me a fucking white chocolate mocha with almond milk, I says, right? So he goes in, gets me a coffee, comes back out. So while he's in there, I'm thinking, sitting there, message me friend, have the message there, Kid Dynamite. I says, listen to me, something bad might happen. Write me books. Me books is in me treasure chest at home. Write me books. I says, I'm in a bad situation. He wrote back, ha ha, smiley faces. I says, no, listen to me. This is not good. Something bad is going to happen. So while he's in there, I'm getting into character. I'm like, right, I'm going to have to, I don't want, because I hate fighting. I'm bleeding skinny thing. I wouldn't harm a fly, do you know what I mean? So I'm like, right, I need to man the fuck up. So he comes out, he sits there, and I say, mate, where are you from? He's told me Russia already. Russia. I says, you're a little girl, I says, why are you letting people get to you? And the first thing he opens up to me. He leaves himself vulnerable. Oh, my girlfriend, blah, 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 all this, my job. I says, listen to me. I says, mate, the reason why I'm here is because I was supposed to get married last week, exaggerating the story, and start opening up. And then he started, being weird and saying weird stuff like, no, well, I want to drive off a bridge. And then I start winding him up because I'm not a psychiatrist and I don't want to say this the wrong way. I say to people, you should do this when people's like this. But what I learned from, I have loads of head cases of friends and I've been around so much head cases. I was a head case myself. So I says to him, right, make sure you get a really pretty bridge and make sure it's really bright blue water. I want to go out with a ban. And he says, you are fucking mental, you fucking crazy, you crazy. And that's when I knew I had him. That's when I knew he was my friend and not my enemy. Do you get me? So, anyway, long story short, we pull in on the motorway. Not a dual causeway or anything, just not a slip road. The motorway, in the side, cars beeping. And I really hope he's not watching this because he'll kill me. But anyway, so what happened was, I says, he going to shit. That is well. And I says, what? Pulls out the biggest bag of coke ever. I never done coke. Don't know what it was, but it was a big ball of coke out of a North Face bum bag. And what happened was, started sniffing. I said, mate, no, because I thought he was going to make me do it because I never done it, and then I'll be fucked off me rocker. No, you get nothing, just me. Pulls off his Ray-Bans, saying how fucked he was. How long are you awake? What day is it? Sunday evening or Friday? And that's when I knew I was in a dangerous place. I started praying to everybody, I was like, this could go so wrong, could go mental. Tried to get out, he says, you go nowhere, you coming with me.
Did you not think of running when he went into the garage?
He locked me in the car.
You were locked in the car?
I tried to get out, yeah, he locked me in the car.
Oh, Jesus.
And I don't know how, it must have been joy lock or something, but he locked me in the car. That's when I heard
Yeah.
But anyway, so then he says to me, give me your email. Give me your phone. I was like, no. I says, what's your address? I'm not telling you. Something bad is going to happen, right? So this is, mind you, this was one of the first rides on the trip, on the hitchhike. And I never thought in Ireland you get people like this, do you know what I mean? I've got them all over the world. So anyway, he done that. And I give him my phone. He sends himself an email off it. And he says, don't put anything on social media. I find you, I tracker, right? And I says, oh, Jesus Christ, this fella is a loony bin, right? And struggling with life. I think I was meant to meet him. But anyway, does the coke, sit there for 20 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it was, doing coke. And then he says, do you like speeding, right? I lied straight away. I says, my best friend died in a car crash last week. But I said that because I didn't want to speed. And he knew. I'm a bad lawyer. You can tell. Liar, he says, right? I says, I'm not lying. What's his name? Mark Jacob or something. I says the most stupidest name ever. Liar. I speed now. Tell me the truth, I won't speed, right? I says, okay. No, he didn't. I just don't want you to speed. I don't think you're in the right frame of mind. Let's put on Faithless, he says. He puts on Faithless, God is DJ. Tune. This is my church. This is where I come to heal, he's singing, right? And I says, you need more than church. So, long story short, speeding 200 kilometres. I don't know whether it was 200 kilometres. It felt like 2,000 miles an hour on 3 litre mark around the bend from Waterford to Cork, speeding, I swear to God. And the only time he slowed down was when I was talking. I know a lot about food, so I was like, you have grandmother's recipe, spinach cake. Can you make blue cheese from scratch and everything? Give me a recipe. And he's slowing down, then he's laughing. Vroom. And he said, where are you going? Where you going? I says, you're not coming with me. I says, I'm going rent a girl in Cork that I lived in Barcelona with. So that was it, right? So left me out in Cork. But anyway, the hitchhike was going around. I was very blessed. I didn't have to. Usually hitchhike in Calvin and Tara and Jew, you don't know where you're. This is the beauty of hitchhiking. A lot of people don't understand it. I could get the bus, I could get the train or the plane or travel around in style. But I don't know where I'm going. It's the freedom of the universe of like living life free and the challenges and the obstacles that come in the way. Like with him, for instance, you could be stranded on the road for 2 days. Like I was stranded in New Zealand on a sweet potato farm for 4 days. So you don't know. And that's why I've went horseback around Ireland. I've cycled around Ireland, went around Bow, and stuff like that. So I wanted a challenge, and I needed to keep my mind. And straight away, so anyway, he let me out. So the hitchhike, it was wonderful. But all this mad stuff kept happening. It was like I went to the edge of a cliff down in Cork, and the girl Yvette I lived with her in Barcelona. She says, Glenn, you can't camp on the edge of a cliff. So if I'm looking at a cliff, I want to camp on the edge of a bleeding cliff. Do you know what I mean? I want to camp on the edge of a cliff. So all this, I was having these vivid dreams. I was going in deep. Right, we'll get to the cave story now in a minute. I was going in deep. But anyway, what happened was I had a nightmare, night terrors on the top of the cliff, that my nanny was pulling me off the cliff. Because my nanny was a nutcase. She would pull me off a cliff anyway. And woke up screaming, Joanne! But then started breaking me shy laughing. Obviously, my nanny wasn't pulling me. As I opened the tent, my feet are dangling kind of off the cliff. It was sketchy. It was in a little laden mushroom tent. It was like a mushroom. But so all this stuff was happening. One of the boys, Fago, came down and looked after me. Met him in the end of the Cork trip. I was having a nightmare that I was holding fire. I was like, it was a weird nightmare. It was like meditating in the nightmare, holding fire. Woke up on the beach, right? Woke up on the beach, had a piece of charcoal in my hand. Fago will tell you this. He's breaking his shit laughing, right? So basically, I went like that, blew it. The thing went on fire. My whole hand went black. You've seen it on Instagram. My whole hand went black. So all this weird stuff happening. And then I just wanted, still struggling over the breakup, whatever. And it killed me. Then I was on a beach on my own for 4 days. It surfaced, again back to isolation. I was like, Jesus Christ, I says, because it's horrible. ADHD, you become so in love with somebody that you could love them for all your life if you really wanted. Do you know what I mean? If that makes...
your focus is on loving them. So that's what's channeling you.
Yeah.
So that's why I think you need to be constantly occupied.
Yeah.
And you were occupied in that relationship.
But that's it, the routine, Calvin. So when it happened, I was like, every night seeing her, and it was wonderful. It was, even when we were fighting, it was hilarious. And, when that happened, I didn't know what to do, even though I had the CBT tools and everything. But anyway, so it surfaced, and then Terrence rang me. Right, Terrence rang me. So I'm there, right? I'm there. He probably told you this, right? But I'm there. All this mad stuff is happening. Mental stuff, holding fire, rushing, speeding,
The dolphin.
So we'll get to the dolphin now. So anyway, I'm Centra sponsor. Shout out to Centra anyway as well. I wake up, right? Derek Ahern says, Glenn, don't sleep with bags of flour. You're an absolute lunatic. He says, you have ADHD. You'd be biting the flour in your sleep and all, Woke up, right? I don't know how. It was like the Wizard of Oz. Flour everywhere. Derek got out of the tent, right? It was a storm, not a storm, little storm. Covered in flour, right? Covered in flour. Centra saying it. It was mad, right? Mad scenes. But anyway, so I'm there. All this is happening. I'm like, this is blading. This is too much. This is weird, It's nuts. So Terrence is on the phone to me. Backpacker comes running up. And what's the names of the dolphins in Ireland? They're not called dolphins. Pom or something, or Ponis, or... There's a name for them. They're like baby dolphins, but they call them something else. I don't know. But they're dolphins anyway. So, anyway, I'm on the phone to Terrence, and I'm so emotional. He relates. He knows. He knows my mind more than anyone. He's the only one of the only ones that I can talk to about what I'm going through. He was going through similar stuff. And I was telling him about it. It was all too much. My mind was on fire. And then some woman ran. She started saying the name, calling a dolphin a different name. So we didn't know what she was talking about. It's stuck. A pontis or pomegranate or something, right? I don't know what it's called, right? So I'm like, what is she talking about? Come on, the pomegranate is stuck, right? It starts with a P anyway. It's like a fake. It's a dolphin. It's a name for a Trinity College word in the dictionary.
It's a dolphin. Hang on, I'll Google it now. It's a dolphin that went to Trinity.
Trinity dolphin. Right? So we
Jamie, any idea?
Hang on.
Porpoise.
Yeah, that's what it was, right?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you just going to agree?
No, 99% sure it was a porpoise. Tortoise or porpoise.
That.
Yeah. So what's it called?
Porpoise.
Yeah. The porpoise is stuck, right? So I'm on the phone to Terrence, and I'm spilling my heart out about love and about life and screaming and crying. And this cunt is just falling around laughing. He's choking, right? And then someone in the background, Calvin, the porpoise, right? mind you, I don't know what a porpoise is, right? So then I'm looking, right? All this weird. It was like the Irish alchemist. So the alchemist is, no matter what, following your heart. Stuff got in the way, burning my hand, not getting picked up on the trip, right? The porpoise. Mind you, this is all in a week. This is all way too much. Plus a breakup and everything else. So basically, I'm on the phone to him. I changed the camera and point at the porpoise, right? Porpoise, Terrence, right? Porpoise, right? And he's falling laughing. So I stopped crying. So then when I seen a dolphin that was stuck in the fucking water, I started crying again. So I was crying over the breakup, and then I'm crying over the dolphin fucking stuck. I forgot about the breakup and fucking now the dolphin stuck. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
one heartbreak to another.
Yeah. So then, me, I do anything for the story. I do anything for attention because I am attention. So I'm sprinting in my jocks, right? Little short, flowery short, phone down my jocks, right? And the farmer's saying, stop, right? Because it's like quicksand. That's why the dolphin's stuck. I'm running, thinking I'm going to, put the dolphin on my shoulders, bring it out, and going to be another story, break the internet, get stuck in the fucking quicksand. The phone goes with him. Get stuck in the quicksand for about 3 hours. So now the porpoise, the dolphin, and I was stuck, as well as dealing with a breakup and dealing with ADHD and dealing with all this, right? I was bawling. I was crying because of the dolphin, crying because of my ex, crying because of fucking life, and the universe is out to get to me, Fuck this, I'm going home. I can't deal with this trip. So anyway, crawling back to shore. The dolphin, the farmer's like, you're a bleeding idiot. The tide's going to come in and wash him out. So all this was happening. So anyway, straight up with the hitchhiking story, I had this mission in my life, right, we went to the Aran Islands. I was looking for a sacred place to do a fast. So the reason why I fast for long periods is, right?
Sorry, I want to interrupt you there. So Terrence was supposed to join you in the Aran Islands.
No, so
he was. I said this to
him.
I'm
gonna ask what's happening. So you can be the judge. You can ask. So I was calling Terrence and everyone was asking, and I need the best thing about happiness is sharing it with somebody. So sharing happiness, as in this journey, I wanted Terrence to be with me alone. You and Terrence to be alone, just us in a tent, cook for us, and show people that it's actually not mad what I'm doing. It's actually very normal. Well, it's not.
No, it is a bit mad.
Well, it's out there, but
yeah.
But I wanted
but
you.
It's not crazy.
But I wanted you to join me, and so I'm calling Terrence and mind you, the internet and all blah blah, and I'm just kind of like in the group. I'm kind of not on my phone that much, just trying to pump information out there. Right, Terrence, the Aran Island, but there's about 17 different names for the Aran Islands, and I told him the middle one, and so Darragh Crosby come to join me. He lived in the Aran Islands, but he is a very brave man. So we'll get to his story in a minute about the castle, what happened. But he's a very brave man, and
you can say that again.
He came over in it was a tumble dryer from Finglas.
Bro, I'm not messing.
I know, I've heard this story.
When me and Ryan O'Brien went down to meet you there, yeah? So we got down to Galway, wherever, and you said, have a friend there, he's going to be coming over.
I'd warned you, though, about the Aran Islands. I was like,
Why
they're
did you warn him?
disconnected. I said people go for pilgrimage to the Aran Islands. They go for clarity. Do you know what I mean? They go to clear the mind. It's not like, I'm going down here and
then KFC or
and I'm gonna get the boat across and then it's like gonna be like going to fucking Dingle, like, you know what I mean?
It's out there.
It's secluded. They go there, the people drink bleeding black tea and all. There's no electricity. And I was trying to warn them. I was like, you need to brace yourself.
You need to be ready.
You're gonna be like a caveman over there. You know what I mean? No technology, like.
So we were in Galway then, and we knew we were at the missing the boat. The last boat was 7:15. We got there at like 7:15, 7:30. So he gets a phone call on the way there, right? And I answer his phone and says hello, and he goes, "What's up? Meet me at this place, whatever name he said. Meet me at this place in Galway. When you come in, you'll see a sign. Turn left and meet me there, right?" And hangs
Who
up.
said this?
Darragh Crosby, right? But never said who
he never
was.
knew. He doesn't know. So it's a random phone call.
A random phone call.
Oh,
right?
you didn't know who it was?
No.
Anything that's happened to him, they keep ringing me because he was with Ryan.
Yeah.
So they keep ringing me and saying, this is at the happening, this is at the
What do you
happening.
do?
So I'm just laughing. I had to do a marathon the next day. So I would have went with them. Only thought I was running the marathon on the Sunday.
So
they went on the Saturday, wasn't they?
The Saturday, No, we went on the Friday.
Sorry.
The Saturday.
Yeah, that's what it was. And you were due to stay the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry. But anyway, I was only getting live updates, yeah?
So he rings me, right? Right, what's up? Is this Titans? Yeah, who's this? Doesn't matter. When you get to Galway, you'll see this sign, turn left, I'm going to see you there, right? hangs up the phone. I said, who the fuck is this? Like, I said, I had her on loudspeaker. I'm Ryan is like, Terence, what the fuck is going on? So
who's your man like?
Who's this fella like? So I says, well, we just do it like, we had to miss in the boat.
And yeah, mind you had a dog as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't know they had the dog. So when they FaceTime me when they were driving down, and he was around the Inkle there. Like, he wasn't even past Bladen. I don't even think they were past Selbridge, for fuck's sake. And the car is stocked up. You had a Bladen, what's that called?
You had loads of food from me, you bastard.
Yeah,
what's the cooker called? The hot plate. He's had a hot plate and all, didn't
What's
you?
a hot plate?
I love the stove, a hot stove.
Look,
yes.
hot stove, yeah, everything.
Pops.
And you want to see, the whole back seat was full of food.
And Ryan doesn't mess around either.
And I was like, they're legit going for a week. Never mind, there's a night or two.
Yeah.
And then he showed the camera, and the dog is in the back. The dog is in the boot. Poor Hank, squinting around in the back.
No, he was fresh though. He was fresh in the boot. Loads of space.
But the tumble dryer from Finglas arrived on the boat. And
The dog was squashed up the gay and Pringles.
We said, you're going to see this sign wherever Tone left it, and me and Ryan was like, won't we, like, how is it like? So we got there, we did it, we were like, fuck it, we missed the boat, let's just do it for the adventure. Right, so we did it, and we was driving up the road, and I rang your man back. I says, right, mate, who are you? I says, we're here. Who are you? He says, right, I'm going to be there in a minute. You'll know me, right? You'll know me.
He's an Islander.
Yeah, he's an Islander. He's a mysterious old cat, this fella, right? So he says, you're going to see me in a minute, right? So we're sitting there in the Jeep, and a big, huge monster truck.
Yeah.
And I mean a monster truck.
Oh, bro.
Pulls up, right? And he whistles, right? And does this turn around, right? So we had to turn the car around and follow him, right? So we're driving, right? And he pulls up into like some, like, it's like where the boats go, but it was like at the very back of it, and I'm like, we're dead. And even Ryan, right? So Ryan is an absolute animal, he'd mow you, right? And even he got for it. He's like, Terence, like, we're dead. Like there's like cabins and stuff like that, and it's in the back of like some boat. I was like, we're dead. So he jumps out. He jumps out, obviously, and he's like, what story? It's me, Dad. I said, why didn't you say that on the phone? Do you know what I mean? He never said that to me. And then his mate jumps out, right? And he gave me awful Texas vibes, he did, yeah?
No,
so
straight away.
He rang me and he's like, Terence is shitting. I was like, you're in the middle of Galway. And he's like, yeah, bro, I'm getting my Texas vibes. I was like, you couldn't be any further away in fucking Texas.
No, but the cactus, the windmills, all this shit,
what cactus? You're in Galway.
Cactus?
A cactus in Galway.
Cactus? It's too cold to have a cactus. Galway's the coldest place in Ireland.
Life, tumbleweeds.
Yeah, actually, the closest place in Ireland to Texas is probably Galway. And like geographically,
you're
the closest to America you're gonna be, but you're not nowhere near Texas.
This bloke was
probably daisy chain or
like,
something.
see if you put this bloke there and put 1,000 people here and said, where's he from? The 95% of them say he's from Texas. Yeah, little gap.
This is Terence's judgment on everything. He thinks this with everything though. If you get 1,000 people, 95% of them are always going to agree with him.
But like, he's very hillbilly-ish, you get me? And he jumps out, he has a joint and he's mounting 6 cans of bud, right? And he says, right, we're going to the island. And I was
because the boats. But you had the boat was cancelled.
The ferries were late. We were late for the ferries, right? So we said, we're going on my boat. I said, lovely. We're sorted, right? So he says, there's my boat there. There was no boat, right? I said, what do you mean? So he said, no, walk up to the ledge. So we had to walk up to Jesus' boat and look down. It was like a front door. It was like the front door of your gaff. This was the boat, right? And he said, this is where we're all going to get to the islands, right? So there was, yeah, man, Dara, me, Ryan, the dog, 2 tents, a load of sleeping bags, and enough grub to do you for a month, right? And he's like, we explained, we were like, I was straight away, I was like, no. But he was
and
like,
the dog as well.
But we were like, mate, we have all of this, right? He's like, that doesn't matter, we're safe, we're getting in this boat. I says, we are not bollocks getting in that boat, do you know what I mean? The dogs start barking and things start going west. It was all spilled.
You could smell the mental health
off
them. They rang me and they were like, yeah, the dog doesn't want to go, so fuck that.
The dog
but then tell me the next morning,
before
we continue, the next morning what happened?
So we camped out on a beach, right? Unbelievable it was, yeah. It really, really was. It was little, the sunset, everything had a good buzz, ate, whatever, camped out on the beach. And next morning we were like, lovely, let's get the Sauso. You actually told me 10:30. Sorry, I'm lying. You said 11:15.
The boat?
Yeah. So we got down there at 11:15 and the boat took off at 10:30. So she said,
so my bad.
Yeah, you're bad, right? So she said, yeah, 15 minutes late, right? But it's grand, there, I'll book you a ticket. So she books a ticket out. We said, lovely, when's this taking off? Obviously in the next half an hour. No, it's taking off at 4:30 this evening. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, and me and Ryan was like...
And you had to go back the next morning anyway, early, so
it
was too much.
But that was the intention. But so we said, we'll sit around till 4 o'clock. So we said, what time can we get the ferry back tomorrow morning? Because we want to get back. So we were going to get like a 6 o'clock or a 7 o'clock ferry to get back for Cabot's Martin, because I wasn't going to miss it. So she said, no, so that'll do you for 24 hours. You can only come back at, say, 4:30 tomorrow. And like, not get the year. No. You can only get that one.
There's only one. It was Sunday. There was only one.
Too much.
By the
hassle.
time you get there with all the stuff, so that's what happened.
So
Yeah,
that's how I
because you
didn't miss you.
disappeared. I was like,
Now, in fairness, I gave you 572 missed calls, video calls.
I know, yeah, and I did think you fell down the sink, you know. But so back to on that.
Sorry, Sauso. You didn't realise how far away from Galway the Arden Islands were as well.
Oh, it's a hike.
How far? How I didn't like. I felt like we drove for years. Like we were in the very.
And it's the sticks.
back.
It's the sticks. Not even Wi-Fi coverage.
He thought it was going to be like from Hout to Islands Eye.
Yeah.
Where like, do you know what? If you're in a boat and it goes down, I have a good chance of swimming the rest.
Yeah.
Same with Lockie. You know what Lockie says? I couldn't believe it. I walk from Galway Glen. I say, you walk down the 20 kilometres. I don't even know where that's that, but anyway. I says, Lockie, there's water.
Yeah, it's turning
What do you
out
mean?
me.
What do you mean there's water? I won't be able to go on Tinder, he says.
Yeah.
What, can you not go on Tinder on water or something? What's wrong with him?
But
I didn't actually. I didn't know.
So how long way is going to be in your man's bleeding dinghy for?
Yeah. So, half an hour on a
30.
super boat.
Yeah, 30.
About 2.5 hours.
We were
3
ringing. So we rang your man that day because we were like, if he gets over there safe, like, and your man comes back, we probably do it. So we were ringing. Then his phone turned off. He said, "There at the bottom of the ocean." Just pretend we never met them.
They're down there with Jack and Rose.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh wait, Rose survived. They're down there with Jack. Jack went down on the front door as well.
Because it was ringing, right? It was ringing, and we had a conversation. We were like, "Where's that beach that you said we can camp on?" And he was like, "Ring me back in 5 minutes if you can't find it." So went on. So I'm ringing back, and the phone was off. I said, "He's gone, that fella. He's at the bottom."
Down there with SpongeBob.
Yeah.
So and then I never heard from him again until now. So he's alive. Yeah, right, grand. Yeah, good.
No, so before, because my mind, I can go on tangents. So
Do you
I want to
reckon?
elaborate on Dara Crosby and the castle, what happened, and the hitchhiker. Because there's only really basically just hitchhiker to raise awareness. So the two main stories in it.
But you didn't do it for money either. It was just raising
so I'll
awareness.
tell you about that now. So remind me at the end of the hitchhiking story. I want to touch on OCD plus and ADHD and the dangers of alcohol with that, because a lot of people don't realise the danger. But anyway, back to that. So yeah, the reason why I didn't do it for money, to raise money for that, because it doesn't reach enough people. When you're asking for something, I've done a load of charity events. I don't think the message was, a lot of people around me were struggling. A lot of people. And I still can't believe now the message that I got to relate, even people that, normal people, and sure you get the same message, people that relate because it's COVID, remember, it's still COVID, the dark is still out in the air. So back to the trip, yeah. So Dara Crosby, very wonderful character. We relate a lot. He's an Islander. He lived in the Aran Islands when he was 12, went to the Gael Talk. Relates a lot. He's put it this way. He's the only one that we were in Roscommon, and the trip, again, Calvin, you were saying, you know, I need to do this, I need a challenge, right? So someone was telling me, in Ireland I can't say because I don't want people to go, it's too dangerous. It's a castle over in Roscommon, and I was obsessing. I want to go in this castle. I was looking for a place to fast 100 hours, right? Where away from everybody.
Is this in the Aran Islands?
No,
it's in
we left the
Roscommon.
Aran Islands. So in the Aran Islands, we just cooked up a storm and chilled. It was just hitchhiking around and, you know, having the crack. But so basically, what happened was I says to him, we went everywhere looking for a boat, blow up boat. I wanted to go over to this castle and stay in the castle, you know.
Is it on a lake, like?
It's on a lake, yeah. And we were in Roscommon, called every Argus, called everywhere, no boats. A boat in Sligo, in
Carrick-on-Shannon.
in Argus, right? A boat,
right, sorry
a
about
blow
me.
up boat, right? A blow up boat. Dara, how much do you love me? I love you, Glenn, but I'm not doing any favours for you anymore on this trip. There's something wrong with you. You should get assessed again. No, Dara, how much do you love me? I love you and all, but I don't love you enough. I'm doing enough for you. You know, we're staying here. You know, no, Dara, how much do you love me? You're a bleeding legend. What do you want? Right. 70 kilometres away, there's a boat. I need you to come get me. Go pick up the boat. Go into Argus. Right, gets the boat. Go back to Roscommon. So we're blowing the boat up in the middle of the night, right? Going over. I needed to stay in this castle. It was in me following your heart, you know. Wanted to stay in this castle. So, don't behold, Dara says, we're not bringing anything over. I say, what are you talking about? We can't row over to the lake or over to the castle and leave the stuff behind. So we bring nothing over, right? We get over. So anyway, freezing, right? No tents. mad energy, bad man energy, right? Wouldn't lie. The fire wouldn't lie, right? We had fire logs, right? That's all we had. Fire wouldn't lie. So he says to me, Glenn, we're going back to get our stuff. I says, I am a me bollocks, right? I says, there's demons all around here. I says, they're going to kill us. They're going to drown us, right? So knock off your torch on your phone. We're going back, right? Pitch black, right? A blow-up boat that only holds 50 kilos, right? And he says,
holds 50 kilo.
Right, I'm trying to record, right, on the slide, because, pump stuff out there.
Yeah.
See, show people there's more to life than drink. So Dara screams, shut up! Can you hear that, right? And I like, bro, intrusive thoughts. The boat burst, right? Halfway over, right? Only on the way back, right? Pitch black. Rowan, we look Olympic, we would have won bronze. Silver, right? Right, silver. Go over, get the stuff, right? Water bag, 100 litre water bag. I have the water bag and that, and he's rowing and he's screaming, cause we're going down, blowing up. So anyway, we go over, and there was where I planned to do the fast, 100-hour fast. When I do a fast, I appreciate life because you go in deep, it's isolation again. So anyway, next day, I go over, row over to get the coffees, bring the mochas back, and the boat again sinking. So we stayed there for 3 days in the castle. Too many people was coming over to do the fast, right? Couldn't do the fast. Wanted to push the boundaries. Wanted to fast for 100 hours. Wanted to go in deep to it. I wanted to appreciate life. Usually I feel like the luckiest man that ever lived. After what happened, I felt like the worst man that ever lived. So go back. Anyway, people was coming over. So then I had this hat on, like coat, Mac coat, the whole lot. The council was coming over. I had tour guides, I'm a ranger. Blah, blah, blah. We take Revelou, the usual shit, right? So anyway, yeah, same thing happened. So we leave the island anyway. Dara goes home. But on the way back over, I wanted to get videos, of course. I wanted to record these memories. The boat, literally, it was like, what George Foreman, when you fold the toasties like that. The boat was like that. And bags in the water. And just sketchy, just stupid stuff that, we were doing. So anyway, I started obsessing. We're talking about OCD, coming to the end of the story. The only main story that happened on the trip was basically I needed a sacred place to do the 100-hour fast.
And had you got this planned in your mind before you went that you were going to do a 100-hour fast?
Well, in there, I wanted to do the 100-hour fast to raise awareness, and I want to show people that if I can do a 100-hour fast in a cave, isolate, you can get sober, you can do anything. And not only that, the reason of the 100-hour fast was I done that trip for my own mental health, hoping that I would relate to one person, 2 people. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And to express that, right, ADHD and OCD, of course you're going to do outrageous stuff if you drink. Of course you're going to do stuff. So anyway, get into that story. But anyway, to push forward the story, the fast. So I wanted to do the fast to raise awareness. I needed a sacred place. A very important girl, S.J. McCurry, who got me into Trinity, helped get me in, says, Glenn, why did you pick such a secluded place to do such a psychological experiment? Live in a cave for a week and do a 100-hour fast. The reason why that was because I didn't want anyone near me. Like, it wouldn't be fun. You can't go in deep if you have people near you. So anyway, I hitchhike 250 kilometres in one day. Somehow, I don't know how. Literally, 6 a.m. job, and fair play to the Joyces. One of the Joyces boxers that I used to box with randomly picked me up. Don't know how he didn't kill me because it was a little bollocks. He remembered me ADHD days in full swing, giving them death. But anyway, legends to the Joyces. But basically, I hitchhiked to the top. So when I get there at 9 o'clock at night, it's about to go dark, and I see closed to the public, right? So I'm like, look, I'd sleep anywhere. I'd sleep in ATM machines. I don't mind, right? It was pitch black. I was so damp. I needed a light of fire, right? So the first fella I see and is the farmer, right? And not talking about negative about anybody, but you have to understand, the farmer hates people crossing his land and going to the beach because he's to clean up. I spent a week cleaning that beach because when I was 100-hour fast and I had to walk, we'll get to that. So he warned me. He said, "Bye, don't you dare cross this land. This land is forbidden, bye." Right? And I says, yeah, no problem, mate, no problem. So I had a game plan. I knew from experience, the second he closes his door in his farmhouse, I have about 3 minutes to jump over his electric fence, run past his house and hide behind the hay until I get the all clear. Yeah, no problem. I'll go back, pretended to walk back. Mind you, I had a tent, I had a whole kitchen supply, everything. Jumped over his fence, right? I'm running. As I get to the end, I see his kitchen light on, he's looking out, He's convinced I'm walking, you know. Anyway, go down. So I see, gets to a bull and cattle and all this. And I was like, anxiety through the roof. I was like, oh, I'm going to be creamed by a bull. So I took out my Japanese chef knife. Vegans won't like this. I didn't kill the bull, but I warned them.
prepared to do it.
I warned them. I says, don't you dare,
I'll make a strip line out.
Yeah. So anyway, so then nobody ran from me. Who ran from me? Sheep and goats, right? And they started making noises. So the farmer was, came out the door looking. So I ran. And then I was like, why am I blading running from sheep? I'm from Dorset Street, you know what I mean? There's worse things that ran at me before, you know? So then, after me running backwards, jumping over electric fences, I grabbed me 5 litre of water. And I don't want to shit on anyone's doorstep, but the only way to get the guy away from me was hit it with the 5 litre of water. So just one that I hit it, just a little knock, to show him who's boss. And anyway, walked down to the beach, right? It was nighttime, so I'm scared of the dark unless I know what's in the room, right? I'm scared, terrified of the dark, unless I know. If we enter a room with the bright, I'm all right. But if we enter a dark room, I'll be afraid in case there's anyone in there wanting to do stuff to me, There's loads of people that I've upset in the past. But just goes to the beach, set up my tent outside the cave the first night. The farmer warned me, right, set up the cave the first night. Anyway, next morning wake up, beach. The reason why it's so hard to get to, and it's the best place it's so hard to get to is next level. It's Asia. Asia and Ireland, where I was with waves, like Bali, So go into the cave, goes back a good bit, there's a boulder in the cave and everything. So I was like, right, I need to study the farmer. This is where I started my 100-hour fast. Go in, cook, linguine, garlic, bread, right? Start to go in deep, right? Start to go in deep in the cave. Set up the cave, right? Set up. So my mind started, I needed to stay busy. Speaking, you were saying, do you like to stay busy? You have to stay busy. Set up a kitchen, right? Set up my sleeping area, set up my fire, set up a tripod, right? Made out of like 4K blocks, right? To put my iPhone on, record, stay busy. So then I was like, set the timer, right? 100-hour fast in the cave. The farmer, I recorded a load of stuff, right, to see, was I imagining it, to look back on, right? 100-hour fast. So what happened was, I go up, check the farmer, right?
He obviously knows you're there.
No, he would have fucking shot me. So 6, 7 o'clock every night, he would let the cattle out, the bull, the goats. I have videos, you've seen the videos online, let them out, and he would walk onto the beach, right? So I would hide behind the rocks to watch him, see him. Then the cattle and the sheep would walk up the sand dunes, up over the mountain. It was like a scene out of the Lion King, Kuna Matata job, man. This was insane, So then I would follow him. He'd go back up to his house. So he's never going to look back. It's pitch black. So, stakes that's attached to barbed wire, not stakes you eat, the big boulders.
Yeah.
Right, so I'd no fire in the cave. I needed to keep warm. When you're fasting, you're weak, you're cold.
You mean the stake as in the big stick?
The big stick, but the huge ones, the biggest one
Yeah,
you can think of,
yeah.
right? So what we do was, Dara Crosby left me his saw. He's a carpenter. So I would cut a stake down every night. It's about a 6-foot pole, big wood, right? And I would cut one of them down, starting at the furthest away from his house to see where you were. And I would carry it back to the cave, right? So anyway, straight into it. My mind, isolation. This is isolation. When you shut down your phone for a year, I'd highly recommend shutting down your phone to anyone that's listening to go in deep. It's great. You're waiting on a board to message you. You're promoting stuff. You're making big waves in social media, right? But then the thing is, you're scrolling, you're wasting energy. If you put that energy into education on why you're not happy. A lot of people message me straight up before I go into the story. A lot of people message me, and I'm sure they message you. We're the Sobriety Society. So
I like that one.
right?
That's a good one,
The
isn't it?
Sobriety Society. So what happens is, a lot of people messaging me, Glenn, how do you do it? How did you get sober? Right? I never message anyone to get sober because I didn't think I had a problem. Do you get what I'm saying? So if I thought for 1 second in my mind that I had a problem, all you have to do, and you'll back me up on this, you two will back me up, pick up Alan Carr's book, How to Control Alcohol.
Well, that's what I was going to say there. What I said in the first episode
Yeah.
was you were a big influence on me getting sober without even realising it. Because when I seen everything you were doing, then you were promoting this book and things like that, and I was every week, I'm not drinking, I can't keep doing them sessions and whatever. And then I was sober for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I heard you keep talking about this book. And I actually got the audio book of it, and it's unbelievable. So that book is top of the range, and anybody on the journey to sobriety should get it.
Well, it'll change your life because it gives you the tools to understand Russell Brand's freedom. But anyway, so isolation, right? The reason why I went in the cave, I wanted to appreciate life. I wanted the dark to surface. I wanted to feel the burn. And I'm telling you, when you're locked in a cave on your own, when you're not on social media, when you have to deal with your thoughts, and you think of the scumbag that drink made you out to be, you think of all the obnoxious behaviour, you think of all the people you upset, you think of how bad you were, you want to die. You're screaming and crying, you're screaming in pain. And then you start to, like, when you don't eat, you start to hallucinate, your body starts to shut down, you know, as the days go on. The first 2 days, 3 days is fine, you know, but you're going in deep. You're going in the deepest ever. You've no one to answer but yourself, and you need to become comfortable with the dark. So, anyway, 25 hours in, made a rookie mistake. Hadn't got enough water. I only had 5 litres. You need about 5 litres to 10 litres a day. So I was like, right, this fast is going to come to an end. But this is a challenge, and I'm not going to stop this challenge. I'll die if doing this challenge. Do you know what I mean? So, right, have to hike up the mountain to refill water. Anyway, climb back up. It's very dangerous, 25 hours fasting. 25 hours fasting might mean much, but if you're climbing a mountain, hiking a mountain,
energy. Yeah.
You need the energy. So, went up to get water, go back down. 25 hours done the hike up, went back down. So, hitting about 35 hours into the fast, 40 hours, my mind started to go. As in, I started to overthink, because we have social media to escape, we've drink to escape, we've drugs to escape, and your mind is very delicate. When I'm lying in bed thinking about what happened with the breakup, my mind starts to go unless I'm not making people laugh. So I stood on this log, a tree that fell down on the beach, and I just done that, right, to meditate. Started meditating, yeah. Looked at my phone, was on the log for about 4 hours, right? Thought it was 20 minutes. Closed my eyes, went in deep, you know, dark, meditating. And I was like, what the fuck, right? 4 hours. So then, the Cook Island surface, the trauma, right? Suicide tendencies, right? Hating, like, what's the point? It's fucking shit. What's the point of living, you know? All the dark, everything that I've ever done, that I talked about on the first podcast, came back, right? So then, right, I'm going to sacrifice myself, right? These are the thoughts, the intrusive thoughts. ADHD is real. You hear proof that the ADHD, right, yeah, man,
real.
It's real, right? 6 million thoughts a day, whatever it is. But we are not our thoughts. CBT, it's how Kanye West says the best, and I swear by it. You can have all these fucked up thoughts as long as you don't act on them. And certainly sober, I don't act on them, so it doesn't matter. But I got these thoughts of, like, everything I've been through, and the pain constantly there, in pain every day. Life over, life complete. Start thinking mad stuff, right? So then, right, you need a safe word. You know, you're 40 hours deep into a fast. You're on your own. If shit goes wrong, because you can have a mental breakdown, do you know what I mean? Back to why the fast, ADHD, after 8 hours when you wake up, you need water, or you start getting intrusive thoughts. After 20 hours, your mind starts to go, because you need food. Because our mind, 6 million thoughts a day, whatever it is. So then, start to hallucinate. You know, start to go in deep, 50 hours, 60 hours. 60 hours, we see this fella, he looked like Johnny Depp. I'm one of Johnny Depp's biggest fans. Young Johnny Depp, very beautiful. I'm not gay. But anyway, black t-shirt, black jeans, Stan Smiths, waving at me, slicked hair back. And I was like, thinking, you know, walking towards him. When I get to the top, he's not there. And I was like, oh my God, this is too much. So I think I have it with me anyway, right? I'll take it out now in a minute. So a fella came into the cave on the 70 hour, right? From Caribbean, right? And his girlfriend from Russia. And say he's there, his girlfriend's there, and he's there. And I was getting dizzy spell, 70 hours not eating. Not enough water, I should have more water. And now he's right eye, dizzy spell, a twirl, you know, it's cool, right? And I start breaking me shy laughing, falling out laughing. And he's very normal. So normal people wouldn't find that really funny, where you be falling out laughing, I was laughing at you.
Were these people really there?
I'll tell you now. So he was, his eyes was wiggling, you know, it was like Looney Tunes. I swear to God, loose tripping balls, high on life, right? And he says, what's wrong with you? What are you doing in a cave with stakes on fire? And you're in a cave, think about what you're doing. This is not normal. I says, it's a 100-hour fast to raise awareness for alcohol addiction and proving a point. Oh, no, I can do this, yeah? He says, the farmer's going to shoot you. So his girlfriend talking about sobriety, it was like a scene out of The Alchemist. Oh, he says, listen to me. Give me something. She says, what? Give me something. I says, I want to know you're real. I says, I'm going to lose my shit if I wake up and you weren't there. So she says, we do this in America. She's Russian but lives in LA. So she had me $10, right? She had me $10. Next morning I woke up, I was screaming and crying, right? I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Something bad's gonna happen. They're coming for me. Mad stuff happening. Saying the $10 no. I'm actually not mad. This is bleeding great. But anyway, all this was happening, right? So 75 hours into the fast. Lost the feeling, felt like lost the feeling in my legs, Sitting there, wake up, didn't sleep for 3 days, the last 3 days. So anyway, bats in the cave, right? They were there because Lacken came down. I'll get to that in a minute. So I'm in the cave. The first night that the sun appeared outside the cave, I'm in the cave, 75 hours deep. All the pain is gone. Because now I know I only have 25 hours to go. Whereas 30 hours in, 70 hours I can't eat. What if I die in the cave, right?
Yeah.
And mind you,
In the home stretch.
there's no connection. And anyway, yeah. So I'm sitting in the cave, right? Couldn't sleep. Sun coming up, right? Bats flying in. So the fire kept going out. So when the fire goes out, the bats come in. But they're afraid of the fire, And then all I hear in my head, right? I was losing me marbles. ADHD, 8 hours. You try not eat tomorrow. When you wake up, right, from 8 o'clock in the morning, don't eat till 6 o'clock, right? An experiment, yeah? And call me and tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts. But anyway, right, Calvin, coming to the end of the story. So I'm there, started hearing voices at this stage. 75 hours in, because my mind is mental, right? So I'm there, right? The bats flying in, the sun. Look, Bruce Wayne I was, right? And all I hear, looking outside, right? And the mountains, they started like wiggling with the waves, right? And I don't know why, obviously because I'm mental, right? All I hear is, don't let the walls cave in on you. But then it was like a remix, right? Doof, 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 doof. Don't let the walls cave in on you. And I was breaking me shy laughing. I was like, people need to hear this, Mental, right? But anyway, 75, straight after that, I sent Ken, I didn't want Ken Lacken, right, to come down, right, on his own through the farmer's land, because he'd have a knock off him and the farmer would shoot him and then I'd get kicked off the land. 75.
So he's not worried
Right?
about Ken getting shot. He's like, he can't get shot and then I'm going to have to leave the cave.
Right, so coming to the end of it, the mission, right, says to Ken, right, says, if I need to climb this mountain, he says, Glenn, you can't climb this mountain, he says, you'll die. 75 hours in, my legs is like Bambi on ice, right, Disney chapter, Bambi on ice, climbed the mountain, 75 hours in, got to the top of the mountain, didn't have the cork on my water bottle. I imagined that the cork was on, and I was so obsessed about putting the cork on the water bottle.
You forgot?
That I forgot, and I imagined that was on, and I was afraid if I fall. But, man, I climbed it so slow, it killed me climbing the 75 hours fasting. Go up, fill the water. Me, Ken comes down, right? And Ken thinks he's funny, yeah, trying to wind me up, right? He kept hiding behind the rocks when he came down. And I started screaming and crying, right? 85 hours into the fast, or 80 hours into the fast, whatever. I actually imagined, because I knew Ken was going to bring loads of food, right? He loves his food, right? He's like fucking a beast, he is. And loves his food. So I started imagining. I was so obsessed about eating that he didn't appear. He's walking down the mountain with him. He just disappears. Ken! Didn't answer. Hiding for 20 minutes on me. Winding me up, Ken! Screaming and crying. Oh my God, what am I going to do? He didn't appear. That was at the walk back down. Mind you, with no food. So how am I going to do this? So it's with him. Tripping balls anyway. So I'm telling Ken about the farmer coming down with the cattle every night. 6 days. We're waiting there. 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. They didn't appear. He says, Glenn, you were imagining it the whole time, you stupid bastard, right? So I started freaking out. So then anyway, the end of it, we wake up, 99 and a half hours, cleaning the table, having the food ready. I says to Ken, I'm concentrating on tomahawk steak. I don't want to know anything. This is the mission. I'm at to prove my point. By the way, a lot of people listening to this will think this fella is a raving nutcase, which they can say. You can say that. But my mental health...
Fair assessment.
In the 100th hour of a fast, I went from not being able to get out of bed over a breakup, right, and over mental health and over other stuff people getting to me, to I felt like I could walk on water. I felt like superior, the strongest. My whole core was like, when you don't eat for 100 hours, when you appreciate every bite, you appreciate everyday life. So anyway, Ken says to me, Glenn, I'm sorry to tell you, look behind you. And I says, Ken, no, stop. I start screaming and crying. There's 2 black boats pulling up, right? So the first thing I thought in my mind is not normal. Soil them seekers, right? And Ken winding me up to bits. They've arrows, Glenn, right? And I says, Ken, Jesus Christ, will you stop? They're not there, Glenn. They disappeared, right? So anyway, I says to Ken, record everything. I'm concentrating on Tomahawk, yeah? Anyway, what happened was, they come into the cave. Scuba divers, right? But they had flippers on, and the blade and the goggles, and the missile suit. Well, what's the thing called? The tank?
Scuba.
Scuba tank.
The oxygen
right?
tank, yeah.
Right, coming into the cave, 12 of them, right? 12 of them. And I says, Ken, I'm not. I says, your man says to me, take a picture. It didn't exist. I was just thinking of Tomahawk. I says, if scuba divers in this cave, I thought it was imaginary, you know? And Ken's falling around laughing, take a picture, shut your mouth. The fire wouldn't light. So they go, right? 100 hours and 14 minutes without eating, right? Who appears?
The farmer.
Bro. A dog, right? Ken says, Glenn, can you see that like poodle, Dalmatian style dog? Yeah. I'm not imagining it now. He says, right, so do the maths, yeah? I says, I have maths dyslexia. He says, do the maths, right? Think for 1 minute, right? Slow down, because I'm a bit scared, right? Bit scared. A dog wouldn't walk down.
On its own.
Where tourists, because it's a cliff. Farmer, right? He could appear at any time, right? So I heard all the forums and I heard all the messages, right? So he gets to the cave. I run behind Ken, raging, I didn't record it, run. Because if he had seen me after him telling me not to go down, he would have known I was there a week, right? So Ken says, Ken is simple, by the way, right? Ken says to him, instead of saying, what Ken tried to say was, we're respect for people, we're respect, we're clean the beach. Ken says, respect, right? Respect! Screaming, right? So then, I don't know why, he decided to stand on a rock. Maybe it was an ego thing, stand over Ken. And then he got further. He seen all his steaks on fire. The 3 steaks that I didn't like the night before was on fire, right? Screaming, right? Screaming, the cave! You know, start screaming, I'm going to blow your head off, right? So I'm there, hiding under the thing, trying to eat raw tomahawk steak, you know, fast milky bars, getting me. Then he sees me, oh my Lord, running from me, right? So Ken is, you seen Ken lacking?
Yeah,
He's a
big
bodyguard,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to give you the count of 3 to get off my land. And he's screaming, you know, how long have you been here? Right? And I was breaking my shoulder laugh because I didn't think it happened. You know, it's like, it didn't happen. And then anyway, climbed up and, you know, a lot of people give me stick. You shouldn't be eating steak and like that after 100 hour fast. So I'm up there, Ken is struggling. Your farmer's gone back to the gaff. We're crossing his land. And, straight away, severe diarrhea from the food that I eaten on top of the mountain in his land, and it was just nuts. So that's coming to the end of the hitchhike. And the reason why I do it, again, relating on OCD, plus we were talking about it to finish this podcast, we're 5 minutes over as usual. But OCD and ADHD, people laugh. You're looking for attention, right? So the OCD, like I was telling Terrence, you know, last year, I'm the most obsessed man in the world. And to end the story, a lot of people have the urge and the impulse when it's again back to drink, drugs, prostitute, other stuff like that. And a lot of people, and I want to thank you as well for having me, because nobody addresses this. Nobody says this. I've been pulled from every book, every publisher, every director, every producer, everyone. You can't say this. They're trying to normalise mental health, right? But I've lost a lot of friends, and we're going to lose a lot of people because of the war on drugs with mental health. And people don't realise that how dangerous it is. I'm in full control of my thoughts, OCD. I'm going to put this out here, the last story. I'm going to leave myself vulnerable, right, for everybody. I'm single now, and in the future, my career, the way I'm going, a lot of people will see this and they won't agree with this, right? They won't agree with the way you speak, the way you're not supposed to speak. You're not supposed to say this, you're not supposed to say that. But the reason why these people kill themselves over drugs is because of the toxic shame, toxic trauma, what they've been through, what they've done, right? I know this because I've done it, and in the Cook Islands I was going to kill myself for being found up an alleyway in Barcelona with a prostitute. That was in episode 1, right? And other stuff like when I would drink, when my ADHD and OCD, I'd get this urge in my dick. And like everyone else with OCD, it's normal, right? I would have to sleep with someone, you know, literally get to the stage where I have to sleep with an exhaust pipe. It's barbaric, right? Because you're so obsessed. OCD plus. People say, everybody has OCD, right? It's so underdiagnosed. It's completely underdiagnosed beyond belief, right? And it's ludicrous because You go out, you drink, and you do drugs. Then you sleep with ladyboys. You sleep with prostitutes, whatever. You can't deal with it, right? But when you take away, right, it's normal for that stuff to happen. I don't do that sober. You know? And the other people, if more people heard about, they're not the only one that does this, because the shame that they have, they're not the only one that does it, that it's actually okay. But a lot of people, a lot of women wouldn't agree with it. A lot of future employers wouldn't agree with that. It's disgraceful what you've done. But believe it or not, it's very normal for somebody with OCD. As I was saying, I had €780 worth of Nigerian gear. When I say Nigerian gear, right, this is OCD, right? Nigeria.com, I googled, right? For training, speaking of a few marathons. No, so my missus at the time, Glenn, what are you doing? We're supposed to be going away. Yeah, and don't tell me you have to spend my money. Why have you got €780 worth of Nigerian clothes? Look what you're doing. Nigerian socks, Nigerian water bottle, Nigerian shorts, Nigerian hat, Nigerian scarf. It was the middle of summer, right? Completely obsessed. So you have to slow down. But of course you're going to put stuff on that with drink. But it's very underdiagnosed. So the reason why people are dying is because of they can't deal with the shame. Do you not understand?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's okay. But I'm not saying, I'm open about it because I don't give a fuck what people think. But I'm not saying you have to tell people that you've slept with prostitutes or that you've done that.
You've done things you regret.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are getting hung up on it, is what you're saying. And how they deal with that is they drink more.
Yeah.
And what that then leads to is you making even more mistakes that you're going to regret then.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is you start with, you get rid of the mechanism which is going to lead you down that path, as you were saying, which is drink, because drink leads to cocaine, leads to bad decisions, leads to regret.
Yeah.
If you take the drink away, you don't make them bad decisions.
Yeah. And it's back to, I knew in Sweden, right? Drink was, I lost my best friend and I addressed the problem. So I knew, right, drink was doing that. Now, I didn't do coke, so I didn't do ladyboys. I actually wish I did. It would have been a great story to write about a ladyboy, wouldn't it? Writing about this big dick, you know, shaking in your face.
Drink.
But I knew drink was like, I would downgrade women. I would be a bastard. But of course, people say you can't use drink as an excuse. 3 years, my friend says to me, Glenn, who's the craziest person you know? I says, you are. He says, what are you talking about? You are. So I says, okay, last 3 years, tell me one thing that I've done crazy. And he stopped. He was thinking, oh my God, actually, I can't think. I says, exactly. The only reason why people call me crazy is because of what I've done under the influence. If you have ADHD, OCD, lactose intolerant, everything on top, you're lactose intolerant, you put fresh cream on top of lactose intolerant, what happens?
Yeah.
You start shooting in the
farmer's
duck's pond.
field.
In the duck's pond. You know, I asked the coffee shop not to put fresh cream on me lactose-free coffee.
Yeah.
I shit my pants in the duck's pond. Of course. So you put drink on top of ADHD, what's going to happen?
It's a recipe for disaster.
So I needed, right, I can't drink. Right, no, I can drink, but when I drink, this stuff happens. So the same anybody out there that's listening that has a drug problem, this and that, you need to understand when you drink, like, you go out, this is the problem, straight with the end on this is the problem. You think, a lot of people think that, right, I'm not bad on drugs on the session, right? But what if, right, and I know a lot of people that would go out once. I know somebody that used to go out once every 6 months to a year, right? He's no longer with us, right? Because
That one time,
you go out do drugs for a 2-hour session or drink, outrageous stuff, barbaric stuff would happen. So then what would happen would be, you know, then you do stuff and you can't deal with it, right? You can't face it, but you do something stupid. So it's not worth it. So you need to figure out a way
that's
how
why
to.
that person's taking so long away at a time.
Yeah.
Because that one time they're drinking, they're like, I can't do that again. They feel so
So
bad,
you
the
need
toxic
to-
shame, they take so long, and then there's that one time again.
You need to figure out a way not to run away from alcohol and drugs, to live with it. You need to find a way, right? How am I going to stay alive? Because any man and his dog will tell you, I don't give a bollocks, I'm going out, I'm a legend. Why are you a legend? Because, you know, people only tell you you're a legend because you have a less bigger problem than them. Do you know what I mean?
But until everyone's a legend on the session until they have to go home. So you have to go home at some stage and you're lying in bed on your own and you're with your thoughts, or you're probably still up and you're still doing drugs and you're still drinking. You're not the legend anymore when you're sitting there depressed out of your head and you're not with the boys anymore, because the night has to end. Whether it's the third night or the fourth night that you're still out going, and you have to go home at some stage and be on your own.
Yeah, and back to the last story, and I don't, again, you said to me today, Glenn, you don't have to say anything that's going to get you into trouble, right? And to end this story, it's back to, right, this story is for all my brothers, right? My brothers that I have recently lost, right? And my brothers that I'm going to lose, and people that I'm going to lose, right? This is for the people that are suffering and the people that cannot deal with the shame, right? It's back to, I was raised by 2 women, right? My mother, my grandmother, the most beautiful women in the world, raised with the utmost respect. Sober, I treat women like royalty, how they should be treated, right? But back to drinking, the last time I drank, straight up, in an alleyway, you know, had a prostitute.
We know the story.
And we told the story.
It's episode 1.
Right, so listen back on episode 1 to anybody that's struggling.
9.
Well, it's Sauso Murray episode 1. Episode 9,
so
talking
episode
Bollox.
9, so to anybody, listen back. We don't need to explain the story again.
No.
Listen back, and to anybody that doesn't understand mental health, you know, it's getting better. We need to address that this is real for the future generation and the generation today, because OCD, ADHD, every mental illness is real. And the war on drugs, you're one drink and you're one line away from a coffin.
Definitely. And that's what I think we're trying to get at here, so that it's okay to, if you're abusing this stuff, don't be ashamed of it. If you're abusing drink and drugs and you're always under the influence and that's your coping mechanism, it's all right to come out and address that. No one's going to think any different to you. In fairness, people will probably think more of you. You hold your hand up and say, look, I have a problem. This is why I'm on the session 4 nights a week. This is why I drink. This is why I'm doing all this Hoover. This is why I am struggling to cope. I don't know. I'm afraid of being sober. This is why I don't like being alone. Come out. We're moving on as a society. We're dealing how to cope with this. We're addressing it. You can be diagnosed. You could come out and say, do you know what, actually, mate, you had a traumatic experience when you were bleeding 6. This is what happened. You lost this family member, or this happened here. Or when you're drinking, you're socially awkward, so you need to drink to fit in.
There's a method to everyone's madness. And to say that, a lot of people are afraid, right, to end it. A lot of people, I was terrified, right, for years. Oh my God, what if a girl finds out this, right? Because no girl is going to message me back, or no girl is going to understand me, right? But what I learned was, right, everyone is mad, right? Everyone does stuff, but most people are afraid to admit it. But if she can't see past the chaos, right, if she doesn't understand me, she's not the one for me. And a lot of people don't understand it. But I'm not going to relate, and I'm not going to connect with somebody that doesn't understand ADHD, OCD, or understand who I am, right? I'm only going to connect with somebody like my last girlfriend, that she has taught me so much more than anyone in life, that to be myself, that it's okay, because our life experience at this table, what we are carrying, the sobriety society, what we carry here is worth more than gold. Because back to, you mentioned something earlier about happiness, the way we're happiness, what we're doing with our life and what we're going, we could be anywhere, but we're here.
So what happened was when Terence went for the toilet, and me and Sauso were talking about what he's doing in college and what he wants to go on to achieve. And what he said was, do you know what, financially it might not be great. And I said, well, some people don't need financial reward to be happy. Some people would be happy to put food on the table, but if their job is making them happy and satisfied, they don't mind then. Yeah. That's why the saying is, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. Because the happiness is so rewarding. Definitely. So that's why I get that from you. So it resonates with, you are going to college to study art and you want to express yourself, and you're saying you can't get the chance, and this is how you're going to get the chance. So maybe financially you'll struggle because it's not financially rewarding in the beginning, but you'll be satisfied. You'll have that gratitude because you know you're expressing yourself through an art form. Yeah. And this is how you channel yourself again, this energy. You know what I mean? Some people are out there, they're not happy with what they're doing. Some people, like, I know people who are PTs, they're fucking delighted with life. They might not be on major money. And some people, like, you'd see people changing career path, taking a pay cut, but they're passionate about what they went on to achieve. It's back to again, another book. And that's happiness. Another book before that changed my life, reading The Alchemist. So it's, no matter what happens, following your heart. And this is, obviously, the Cook Islands, what happened. We touched on that in the first episode.
miserable with my own private island.
And that's what happened. You achieved what you wanted to
Yeah.
achieve, and then you realised,
But
you know what, this is not it. And do you know what resonates with that? When Tyson Fury became world champion, it was when he hit his pit of depression. He'd nothing left to achieve. He hit that goal. And like, you know what, this isn't actually all it cracked up to be.
But I give you a laugh, because when that happened, after the Cook Islands, I was like, right, everyone's going to laugh at me. I want a career in the arts. There's millions of artists out there that get paid. You're artists, what you're doing
But we don't get paid.
No, I know, but there's no. I mean, there's millions of artists that are making a living out of art. Well, they're happy artists, right? And happy artists, dangerous artists. But I was in Jamie Oliver's restaurant in London, and your man asked me, "See me CV, you have the job. What do you want to be when you're 40?" He says to me, "I lied through my teeth. Want to have restaurants. Want to cook at the highest level." Went outside, started screaming and crying. Don't want to cook. Me, I don't give a fuck about tomatoes and shallots and red wine, right? How am I going to express my life on red wine and shallots? But with the arts, and the thing is, it's back to following your heart. I was miserable at the age of 30, right? Where you could say the world at my feet, working anywhere in the world. Miserable, the most unhappiest. And that's so dangerous for your mental health. But now, I'm a struggling artist. When I mean struggling, I'm 34. I moved back in with me ma, you know. I'm going to start college today, and sitting here can say me hand on my heart, I'm doing what I love, and if I die tomorrow, I will die the happiest ever. I may never make it.
That's the beauty in the
but
struggle, isn't
when
it?
you're happy, you already made it. You know what I mean? And it's an absolute pleasure. Fat legends.
And so thanks for coming back on.
No, thank you.
This
guys.
has been another fucking roller coaster. I think we're gonna have to do a separate series with you. Let's leave it. What was that? 32 episodes. Let's leave another 50. Yeah. Do you know what? Episode 100, part 3. Sauso Murray. God only knows what you get up to between now and then.
Absolute legends.
Sauso, thanks very much, bro.
But come here to me. I want to say one thing as well. Just keep doing what you're doing. Energy is big man energy. Eliminating all
Big
negativity.
dick energy, yeah.
No, hey, you have to show me how to walk like you have a big dick. Because
Can I
when
see me walking in?
No, I tried it, you know. I tried it, but when you walk into the club, you know, like everybody hates you, you know, but can't do it. They know straight away when they see me coming, he's a small dick.
Right, we'll wrap this up. We'll leave it there. Episode 41.
Right.
Take us
Holla,
out,
holla.
Jamie.
Boom!
Subscribe to this podcast for free on the Go Loud app.
What you waiting for? Put your back in it. Just a little more. Throw your weight in it now. Tell your body you can. Walk it hard and long. When you finish that,
The hip knocker.
go down, go down, go down.